is BBC Radio Solent Sport,
the home of live sports across the south.
Every Saints, Cherries and Pompey game
live.
We are back. Good afternoon. Welcome to Solent Sport, live from Fratton Park for the start of the League One season. Will this finally be the season that Pompey lift themselves out of the third tier and into the Championship?
We desperately want to get promoted and we want to be competitive at the top of the league. There's no doubt about that. If we don't go up for whatever reason this year, I don't think we're going to sit here and say it's a failure.
I'm not sure your owner will agree with that, John. He's got three very clear aims for the season.
Well, promotion, number one, of course. Number two would be promotion. Number three would be promotion. And then we can discuss the rest.
And we certainly will do that in the build-up to kick-off this afternoon. Getting off to a good start, vital. Setting the tone, key. Pompey will try and do that today against Bristol Rovers. Let's see if we can get some team news, shall we? Your headlines come from your commentator, Andy Moon.
Yes, there may have been 12 new faces for Portsmouth, but only 4 of them are in the starting 11 this afternoon. Norris in goal, Paul at the back, and White and Scully on the flanks. Paul getting that nod over Sean Raggett, who's on the bench. Bristol Rovers give 3 debuts, including to Giovanni Brown, who in a parallel universe could well have been a Pompey player last January. John Marquis, who scored twice here in the past for Doncaster against Portsmouth, starts up front.
Coming up in the build-up to kick-off this afternoon, we'll discuss those Messino comments and the subsequent tweet that got the Pompey fans all fired up after our forum on Monday night. And we'll hear that exclusive radio interview for the first time with Pompey owner Michael Eisner over from America for today's game. He's been speaking to Andy Moon. He's hoping to see 3 points from his side as well. 2 live games for you today. League One getting underway and the National League as well. Lots of new signings for Eastleigh, and the Spitfires travel away to Solihull Moors for their opener. We sent Tom Murray to the Midlands.
Eastleigh go again in the National League after missing out on the playoffs last season, having spent much of the second half of the season in the top 7. They travel to Solihull Moors, whose 0-0 draw at the Silver Lake last April actually condemned them to another season in England's 5th tier. It's certainly not the weather for a season opener in August. No team news as of yet as well, but the big question is whether the new Spitfire signings Paul McCallum and Scott Quigley can replace the goals of Danny Whitehall, who left for Scunthorpe during the summer break. Live commentary from 3 from the Armco Arena, online and on your smart speaker.
As always, 4 full hours of sport for you. An hour of pre-match build-up, 90 minutes of match action, and then the full hour of post-match reaction and debate to come from 5 as well. We'll take you through until 6 o'clock. Your radio station, your club we're talking about, your chance to have your say as well, both pre and post-match. At Solent Sport on Twitter, 08000 321 333 on WhatsApp. Save it into your contacts in your phone. Start your message with the word Solent, or you can text 81333 as well. You're listening to the home of live sport across the south.
Jordan Clark,
BBC Radio Solent Sport.
Solent Sport with Jordan Clark, 25 minutes past 2. We've got 2 live commentaries for you today. It's the start of the League One season for Pompey, and Eastleigh get their National League campaign underway at Solihull Moors as well. They have seen a fair few new signings come in over the summer. A bit of change under Lee Bradbury. Paul McCallum, star striker from a few years ago, is back at the club as well. Of course, we brought you the news at the end of last season that Stuart Donald was back as owner as well. Will this be the season that Eastleigh finally get themselves into the Football League? They've been trying for long enough. Let's head back to the Midlands, shall we, and speak to our commentator there, Tom Murray. Tom, talk me through the business that Eastleigh have done then. As we said, there's been a fair bit of it. Paul McCallum, probably one of the standout signings of the summer.
Yeah, absolutely. Paul McCallum coming back to Eastleigh is a brilliant signing for them, and they needed to bring in goals at the top of the pitch, especially with Danny Whitehall moving off to Scunthorpe, and even Mark Kelly, the left back, doing so well to get a move there as well. And it's actually, I've got the team news in front of me as well. Paul Callum is the one that starts, and another striker that they brought in during the summer, Scott Quigley, did really well at Stockport, another experienced head to go at the top of the pitch. It's a really good signing actually by Eastleigh, but it's Quigley who actually just drops to the bench. He doesn't make his full debut at the moment. Ryan Clampin has it's actually 6 debuts in the Spitfires lineup this afternoon. Ryan Clampin is one of those at left back, Lee Hodson just in front of him. In midfield you've got Jake Taylor and Solomon Muabu. He also is making his debut, and obviously, as I said, Paul McCallum. And one I'm really looking forward to seeing is Enzio Boldevine out on the right hand side. Electric pace, very tricky for this division, and I think, you know, if Paul McCallum can get the service from Enzio Boldevine, then maybe they won't miss Danny Whitehall at all.
And what's the feeling like, Tom, amongst sort of supporters, but also, I guess, players and coaching staff about what chance they got this season? Of course, Wrexham, Notts County, out the way now. I haven't got to worry about them anymore. Does that open the league up a bit more?
It certainly does. When you have 2 of the big hitters out of the way, then that gives others a chance to try and get towards the top of the table. I've been speaking to a couple of the media team for Eastleigh. Certainly for today, they'd be happy just to start off the season with a point. The weather is dreadful. The rain hasn't stopped. I think that's the same story for most of the country anyway. But yeah, it's very much get off to, don't lose today. And from then, whether they can push the playoffs remains to be seen. As I said, if they can replace those goals. They were so unlucky last season. They gave themselves an 8-point cushion in March in the playoffs. And Lee Bradbury, when I spoke to him last season, he said he's very pleased with the season, whether they got to the playoffs or not. But after that kind of cushion to fall away towards the end of the season, you've got to be bitterly disappointed. They brought in some really good new players. There's a positive feel about the club. I think they're definitely going to give it a go.
And what about today? Solihull Moors have been a consistently strong side in the division, I think. Any change from that this season and what Eastleigh might come up against this afternoon?
Well, I've certainly seen a few predictions for the National League. One actually had Solihull Moors up in the playoffs, and others have them down near the relegation places. So what do we know at the beginning of the season? Someone's going to get egg on their face, that's for sure. The feeling around here, having spoken to a few fans and a few of the media team, they'll be happy. It's so close, that gap between the edge of the playoffs and the trap door, that anyone could really finish anywhere. But with Solihull 15th last season, I've been really impressed with some of their signings. Actually, recently this week, they brought in the experienced head of Richard Stearman, played for Wolves in the Premier League, never played below League One level, even made over 20 appearances for Derby in League One last season. So to have him in the back, although he doesn't start today, they've got a very young defence, Solihull. To have that kind of arm around the shoulder in the back line is only going to give them help at the back.
Tom, great stuff. Thank you very much. Eastleigh away at Solihull Moors in their National League opener will be on BBC Sounds from kick-off at 3 o'clock. Make sure you've got the app downloaded on your smartphones and tablets.
A very happy new season from the Midlands as Eastleigh travel to Solihull Moors to kick off a new National League campaign. And the weather certainly is not that of an August season opener. The wind is swirling around the Armco Arena. I'm lucky to be, undercover. There are a few brave souls on the opposite side of the pitch. There's a whole stand that has no roof, but there's a few people I can see dotted around with umbrellas, dressed in black. It's kind of the weather that you'd expect to have midway through the season as we enter November and December, but no, it is an August afternoon. Well, welcome along. My name is Tom Murray on BBC Radio Solent. We're just waiting for the teams to come out of the tunnel at the moment. There's a good sized crowd at the moment. A lot of them have been clever and got under the roofs of the 3 of the main stands as the tunnel just gets pulled forward towards the edge of the pitch. I don't think it's going to be too long until we see Solihull and Eastleigh take to the field. I'll just take you through the lineups before the volume starts to crank up. Let's start with the Spitfires. Joe McDonnell is in goal after signing a new deal during the summer. Fantastic performance last season, kept the joint most clean sheets in the division. Along the back four, we've got Oscar Rutherford, George Langston, Aaron Martin, the ever-present captain, and Ryan Clampin making his debut at left-back. In the middle, it's Lee Hodson, Solomon Wabuoke, Jake Taylor and Charlie Carter. Enzo Baldovine also making his first start on the right-hand side, and returning forward, Paul McCallum leads the line, the new number 9. For Solihull, they've had a summer of change as well. It's 7 debuts in their lineup this afternoon. 18-year-old Tommy Simpkin is in goal. A back 5 of Joe Newton, Cade Craig, Carl Morrison, Nico Gordon and James Clark. Midfield 3, Jamie Osborne, new signing Joss Labadie and Gus Mafuta sit behind a front duo of Mark Beck and Josh Kelly. We are rapidly approaching kick-off and being told that we will have a minute's applause before we get things started. As things stand, I can just see one of the many signings that Eastleigh have made over the summer, experienced winger Chris Maguire taking his place in the dugout just in front of me. I'm just left of the halfway line on this left-hand side, as there's a bit of a roar around the players. The cameramen get ready, the officials are out of the tunnel, as are the two sides. Eastleigh in all orange this afternoon. Solihull Moors in their traditional yellow and blue take to the field as they line up in front of this stand at the Armco Arena. Referee today, James Durkin. He took charge of 22 National League games last season, handing out 97 yellows, 7 reds. He was actually in charge of 3 Spitfires matches last season. Eastleigh lost all 3, whereas for Solihull, 2 defeats and a single loss for them. It's just me on the mic today, no co-commentator, so do bear with me as we bring this commentary as the players peel away. Eastleigh going over towards this left-hand side, going through a few drills, as I said, all in orange. 6 debuts in the Spitfire starting lineup, handed by manager Lee Bradbury. Those 6, Enzo Baldovine coming from Notts County after a terrific campaign for them in their promotion season. Jake Taylor in the middle, Solomon Nwabuoke, Lee Hodson, Ryan Clampin, and of course Paul McCallum in his second stint at the Spitfires. There's a few Spitfires fans below me just applauding Lee Bradbury, who gives them a thumbs up. It's always a date to look forward to, the beginning of a new football season. Of course, we brought you action live last night on BBC Radio Solent. Southampton kicking things off with a win at Sheffield Wednesday. The perfect start for them under Russell Martin, and a great game as well, winning that late on inside the last few minutes. Now, of course, if you were following that game, there's been a lot of added time. Referees being told to clamp down on poor behaviour, but also the ball not being in play and trying to get as much action as possible within the 90 minutes. Whether that will be seen today, there was a total of around 15 minutes of added time across both halves last night. I wonder what will be across, and there's a good start for the speakers just above me. It's only approaching the kick-off in the first game, and already it started to sound like a Dalek. But we're just going to take in this minute's applause as the two sides line up around the outside. Observed as we're about to get underway Match day 1 of the National League season. Eastleigh missing out on the playoffs by 4 points last season, having been in the top 7 for much of the second half, getting that 8-point cushion. We're yet to kick off, but it's Jake Taylor over the ball for Eastleigh, who are going to get us underway. Eastleigh ready to go. Solihull just forming in a bit of a ring in the centre of their half. Eastleigh shooting from left to right as I look on this very blustery, windy and wet August afternoon. Can the Spitfires come away from the Midlands with 3 points and get the season off to a perfect start? Live commentary on BBC Radio Solent, online and on your smart speaker and app on BBC Sound. If you want to listen to the Portsmouth commentary, listen to all of our radio frequencies as they begin their campaign at Fratton Park against Bristol Rovers. Andy Moon and Guy Whittingham with the commentaries. We are underway and Aaron Martin hits it high into the blustery sky and no one's on that, headed forward. I can already see the first splashes, a few water coming up from the pitch. It is very, very wet out there. Just before about an hour before kickoff, there's a tractor going around just trying to get some of that water off the pitch. Cade Craig at the back for Solihull. Back to Simkin. He's very young goalkeeper, 18, signed on loan from Stoke City in July as the ball comes over towards this near side inside the Eastleigh half, midway throw into the Spitfires. Lee Hodson just in front of his manager's technical area. Lee Bradbury's already up on his feet inside the first minute of the game. Referee James Durkin just already putting some authority where he wants the ball to be taken from as a long ball forward by Eastleigh. He's going to go out of play for a goal kick just in front of the Jerem stand away to my right. First minute gone. Eastleigh nil, I should say Solihull first. Solihull nil, Eastleigh nil here in the National League. The first day of the season. One of those games that you always just look out for. It's an exciting day for any football fan. Of course, the Championship begins, Leagues 1, League 2, all across the country, aside from the Premier League. We are underway. Just having a look at a few National League fixtures. Aldershot, they're facing Oxford City, Altrincham, Dagenham and Redbridge. Barnet against Hartlepool as the ball forward. He's just headed up into the air. No one's really got control of the play so far as Nico Gordon tries to hit it forward. Jake Taylor tries to flick it, but it goes over the head of Paul McCallum. And back into possession of Kyle Morrison, who's also making his debut this afternoon for Solihull. Ball over the top. Aaron Martin deals with that on this near side. Solihull have it in possession in the left back position. It's Dink forward. Lee Hodson, I thought he left it out of play. He did. It was Jamie Osborne who was just on his toes for Solihull. Eastleigh in their all orange away kit so far. A lot of big time change. Of course, Stuart Donald coming back to the club. There's a real lack of control. Nico Gordon tries to head it up, but it falls to Charlie Carshow in the centre of the pitch, out towards the left hand side to Ryan Clampton. He can come over halfway. Wabu okay, cuts inside, long footed, right diagonal ball that finds absolutely no one, goes out of play for a goal kick. 2.5 minutes gone, goalless between the two sides at the moment. So Paul McCallum leading the line for Eastleigh. As I said in the build up to this game, a lot of questions asked, of course, losing Danny Whitehall. He left early on in the summer to Scunthorpe United along with Mark Kelly. He's a scorer of plenty of goals last season. Are they going to be able to fill that gap if they want to have a push for the playoffs? Jake Taylor just wrestling in the middle of the pitch, up in the air by Lee Hodson on this near side, goes out for a throw, bang on halfway. Jamie Osborne, the captain, he leads that for Joe Newton, recently signed from Haverton Waterlooville. Throws it up the line, headed up in the air by Wabu-okay. Still hardly any control, but Charlie Carter brings it away and finds it with Clampton down the left hand side. He's pulled down, free kick. A little talking to for Jamie Osborne, but just in that left centre back position, Eastleigh will have a free kick. No goals so far in the National League's other games as I was running through them earlier. George Langston over this free kick for Spitfires. Hits it long, right footed towards the edge of the box, trying to find the head of Paul McCallum. He heads it back to Hodson. about 30 yards from goal on this near side. Rutherford into the centre of the pitch, then flicks out to the right. Good opportunity for Hodgson to get the ball in the box. He does, but McCallum rises over the bar, and that's the first chance of the afternoon. And it's Paul McCallum who's headed it just over the bar into the Jerram stand away to my right. Eastleigh almost drawing first blood here. 4.5 minutes gone, 0-0. I'm saying just completely goalless across the top 4 divisions in action today. Commentary live on BBC Radio Solent, online and on your smart speakers. Just ask us what we get to play BBC Radio Solent on sounds and the BBC Sports website. Goal kick, very central, trying to find a couple of men in the middle as Mark Beck can't quite get on that for Solihull. As Aaron Martin slips but hits it down the line, trying to find Paul McCallum, goes out of play, and it'll be a throw in this left back position. Kay Craig up towards halfway. Rutherford lets it roll past him, but Hodgson's behind him, hits it into the centre of the Solihull half as Enzio Baldovine tries to challenge at the back, but they have it in possession on this left hand side. The ball can only find its way as far as Rutherford, tries to flick it in the middle to Jake Taylor, but it's very scrappy in his opening minutes. But here's a chance for Jamie Osborne, the captain for Solihull, to bring it away into the Spitfires half, plays it down the right hand side. Clamping comes over and manages to beat his man James Clark to that, but manages to win himself a throw in the process, in line with the edge of the box on that far side. There was a chance there for Jamie Osborne, the experienced head for Solihull, of course been here since 2018 when he signed from Grimsby. Experienced man, 31 years old. He was almost broke away through the centre of the Eastleigh half, played it out to the right, but his ball was too short. Ryan Clampin read that well, as there's a bit of a physical duel in the middle. Solihull win the free kick, right of centre, probably about 40 yards out, certainly not a shooting position. Jamie Osborne over this once more as the players are up from the back, and there's a line of yellow and blue and orange strip just across the face of the penalty area, just towards the left hand side of the D, this near side. Eastleigh coming so close through Paul McCallum to taking the lead. What can Solihull muster from here? Osborne into the penalty area, header goes up, fairly scrappy towards the back stick. Joe McDonald grabs it quickly, and he's not having any trouble collecting that. 0-0 between the two sides, just under 7 minutes gone on this season opener. Lee Hodgson dinks it over the top in search of Jake Taylor. The offside flag stays down as they're coming together, but Kay Craig hits it up into the Midland sky. Very cloudy, ball forward onto this right hand side. Rutherford can't find it, but he tries to flick it towards McCallum. Carter now finds himself on the left side of the penalty area. Baldovine, can he cut in onto his right hand side, up against James Clark, right side of the penalty area, he shoots, hits the post. Eastleigh strike the woodwork, they almost take the lead once more. Rutherford on this near side, turns away from his man, goes towards the byline, hits the ball into the box, but it's deflected, goes out for a throw, I think. Enzio Baldovine crashing the ball against the far post, cut in on that left hand side of the penalty in the left corner, cut in onto his right foot, shot across goal, and it hit the post on this far side as Hodgson gets things back underway, tries to get the ball into the box, it's blocked, he claims handball, nothing doing. Exciting early 8 minutes here for Eastleigh. A couple of really good chances over the bar from McCallum and hitting the post from Baldovine. Throw-in comes to nothing, but Eastleigh do have another throw on this near side as the ball just goes out from Mafuta. Mafuta signed from York City, another of the 7 debuts that's been handed by Solihull boss Andy Wing to his side as Jake Taylor just slips, he's pulled down, they take the free kick quickly. Jake Taylor fed down the right hand side by Rutherford, ball into the box, big shout for handball. He's screaming for the officials, referee says no, linesman says no, corner. It was fairly close quarters as Jake Taylor was fed down the right hand side by Rutherford. His ball back across the face of goal was certainly hit a body part, but no handball. Perhaps Solihull got away with one there. They do. The Spitfires do have a corner though on this near side. Enzio Baldovine to take this. Big players up from the back, whips it towards the front post, it comes out towards the edge of the box. Taylor can't quite control. Clampin now in the right corner of the box, now to Baldovine. Clampin's brought down, no free kick. Rutherford crossing position straight towards the back stick, up goes Simpkin. and he gathers that well, tries to run to the edge of the box to get a break going, and he throws it quickly out towards the right hand side. That's a great ball as they can get over halfway down the right hand side, and Jamie Osborne in the middle collects, and he just has to slow things down. Ryan Clark in that right back position, now Nico Gordon as Eastleigh manages to get men back. Kyle Morrison just short of the centre circle, Nico Gordon into the middle under pressure, ball goes down, free kick in the middle. Eastleigh just breaking up players. Solihull were just trying to get a bit of momentum going. Still goalless elsewhere in the National League. Of course, you've got Darlington against Curzon, Ashton, Kings Lynn against Hereford. In the National League North, Rochdale playing Ebbsfleet down later on today as the ball forward down the right hand side isn't able to get through to Josh Kelly, and Joe McDonald will collect. Bowls it out towards this near hand side. Lee Hodson in the right back position into Aaron Martin, very experienced centre back, brought in last year, former Coventry, Saints and Crystal Palace defender. Ball out of play on this near side. Lee Bradbury just having a word with the referee after that. I have to say, I think it was a fairly warranted penalty shout, although it was very close to him when the ball was struck. It certainly hit an arm, not given, but Eastleigh so far having the better of the game. Two big chances, Paul McCallum and Enzo Boldevine in the opening 10. Solihull just happy to hit it back towards McDonald, who's forced out of his goal, and that's not a good clearance. Mark Beck can bring it out 30 yards out. Jamie Osborne on this left hand side. Joe Newton, he's bundled to the floor, referee says get up. And now Waboko, he can play it over to Clampin on the left hand side. Eastleigh still inside their own half. That touch from Clampin, a bit heavy, but he tries to get it down the left hand side. Boldevine is bundled to the ground on halfway, and it will be a free kick to the Spitfires, and I think we're going to see the first yellow card of the afternoon. Nico Gordon picking that one up. Nico Gordon on loan from Birmingham City, and he's made 11 appearances in the Championship. He actually scored on his first start last season versus Bristol City, but missed a great portion of last season as well due to illness. And he was seen as quite a bit of a bright prospect, but because of that illness, sent out on loan. Lee Bradbury will certainly be pleased with what he's seen from his side so far, as it looks like the rain is starting to ease, although I don't really want to jinx that. I'm sure a torrential downpour is on the way. Long ball towards this near side. It manages to get through to Rutherford. He doesn't win the claim for a throw-in, and it will be a Solihull ball down by my right by the corner flag. 12 minutes gone here on BBC Radio Solent. 0-0 on the opening day of the National League, the opening day of the Football League season. Down in that left back position, thrown forward up towards halfway. Joe Newton can't quite get it out of his feet. Wabroke tries to play it down the right hand side. Rutherford chases it. He's adamant that it's taken a touch, and it goes out for a goal kick in the end. 0-0 at the Armco Arena on a very, very wet August afternoon. I was saying earlier to Jordan Clark, probably needed a boat to get up to the Midlands this afternoon. It was so wet on the M40 and A34. In the middle, Jamie Taylor, a bit of head tennis going on. Joe Newton, his ball forward takes a touch off Lee Hodson on halfway. Throw into Solihull, and they aim to go back into the defence, where Cade Craig will play it across the face of the box. Tommy Simpkin comes and collects, and the ball's now with Kyle Morrison. He has to step on the ball under pressure from Paul McCallum. Back to Simpkin. Very young goalkeeper, 18, was on loan at Fylde last season, made no appearances, but he's kept just 12 clean sheets in 51 games at youth level, so certainly one that Eastleigh can get at. They've come close so far as Jake Taylor tries to head it over halfway, but he plays a first time ball in search of McCallum. Another claim for handball, this time against Kelly. Jake Taylor comes across, he's again furious with the fourth official, claiming it again very close to the body. The arms were into his side, that's probably why it wasn't given. Jamie Osborne collects it, the captain for Solihull, tries to get away from Oscar Rutherford, but into the middle to Cade Craig, plays it behind Carl Morrison. and that just puts that Solihull attack back a few yards. Morrison tries to dink it over towards the right hand side, ball into the middle of the box, and across comes Langston, collects it well. Rutherford now on halfway, and they have a 2-on-2. He's into the middle, he's got Paul McCallum to his left. Rutherford now going through the centre of the pitch, plays it to McCallum, into the box, back to Rutherford, into the penalty area, shoots, brilliant save by Simkin to his right. Boldevine, can he keep it in on that far side? He does, dinks it into the box. Simkin again with a lovely hand to it, and it goes out of play on this near side for a throw. Eastleigh once again denied. Tommy Simkin with a superb save one-on-one with Oscar Rutherford. He found himself in the penalty area about 12 yards out, tried to hit it low to his bottom right-hand corner, and Simkin came across. Dazzling save by the 18-year-old, and its score remains level. Eastleigh though turning the screw. They've had the 3 best chances of the game so far here at the Armco Arena. They have it in possession with Hodgson, tries to get it to the byline down the right hand side. Newton comes across, hits it out of play, throw into the Spitfires. The game simmering nicely, coming to life. Really, really good play, exciting play from Lee Bradbury's men so far. Oscar Rutherford is finding himself in a further forward position with Lee Hodgson on that right hand side in the right back position. Almost in nosebleed territory for Rutherford, finding himself in a 2-on-2 situation. Well played by Paul McCallum as well, not to be selfish. This could be a chance for a long throw. In it comes towards the front stick. Labadie manages to get a foot on it towards the halfway line. Clampin, the only man back for Eastleigh, hits it over towards this near side where Joe Newton will let it go over his head out for a Solihull throw on this near side. Just coming up to the 16-minute mark here at the Armco Arena, also home of Birmingham City Women, and Solihull not using it. 0-0. Eastleigh coming close 3 times. They'll be disappointed not to be in front. Joe Newton trying to head that up again. A bit of head tennis on this near side. Across comes Jake Taylor, leaves a foot in, but not a lot of control as the ball comes back towards Ryan Clampin, who finds himself in a fairly central position. Labadie tries to win the ball off him. Clampin falls to his feet, claims the ball in his hands. He does win the free kick. Wabroke in the centre of the pitch, plays it out to his right. Hodgson on this near touchline, just inside the Solihull half, down the right hand side to Rutherford. Quick hit ball into Jake Taylor, who receives a nudge in the back for his troubles, and the ball comes back to Langston on halfway. Clampin now to his left, over on that far side. Boldevine to his left, and the ball over from Clampin. A few groans there as it goes out of play on this near side for a Solihull ball. 17 minutes gone so far. Just checking the scores at the moment on the doors across the National League. Maidenhead United, they've taken the lead against Files. Smith with the goal there, and Southend have taken the lead through Powell against Oldham. Gateshead as well, Dinangana against Boreham Wood, they're 1-0 up. No goals elsewhere. And Wrexham's start to life, that fairy tale in League 2, not going well for them. They're 2-0 down at home to MK Dons at the moment. Sutton United also lead against Notts County, both sides promoted from the National League last season, not having the best opening 15. McCallum on halfway, doesn't have much support, but Jamie Osborne is tripped as he wins the ball off him, and that'll be a free kick to Solihull in the centre of the park. Portsmouth Bristol Rovers, that remains 0-0. If you want to listen to that commentary with Andy Moon and Guy Whittingham, please do across all of our radio frequencies and on Freeview. Things back underway. Carl Morrison into the middle of the pitch now with Mafuta. Morrison dinks it down the right hand side. He's trying to find an overlap there for James Clark, but Wabroke in possession. Good feet as they try and get it up towards halfway. Paul McCallum is bundled to the ground by Morrison, and the ball just remains up in the end. The diminutive figure of Jake Taylor can't quite get onto that. Osborne now 30 yards from goal, takes the shot. It's just away to the left hand side of Joe McDonnell. It's a good strong two-handed save, especially on such a wet surface. He took a touch to his right, about 20 yards out did Osborne. Low ball, and there was a bit of a bobble, a bit of a bounce, but Joe McDonnell read that well. But it will be a corner on the far side, the first set piece of the game for Solihull. Jamie Osborne over on that far side to take this. Big men up from the back. Although James Durkin is not quite sure what he likes what he sees just in the 6-yard box. There's a bit of a coming together between McDonald and Nico Gordon, and Josh Kelly there as well, trying to be a nuisance. Eastleigh have had the better of the game so far, but Solihull with the set piece. It's actually Joe Newton with the left-footed ball towards the ball post. That almost drops in the far corner. That couldn't have been too far away. Whether he meant or is quite blustery today, whether the wind just carried that. But in the end, it remains 0-0 as we approach the 20-minute mark in the Midlands. It's been an exciting game so far, no goals as of yet. Just casting eye across for the other scores. Watford have taken the lead in the first minute against QPR as the offside flag goes up. And Solihull will have possession with Labadie just inside the Solihull half on this near hand side. He leaves it for Cade Craig to come over. Plymouth starting to light in the championship very well. They lead Huddersfield by 1-0. But here is where it matters. It's goalless between Solihull Moors and the Spitfires. Ball forward. Beck tries to head out to Clark on that right hand side. He feeds Clark, then gets the ball back down the right channel. He's up against 3 men. Good backheel to Clark, who tries to work a crossing position. Back to Nico Gordon, and the Birmingham City loanee tries to flick it into Mark Beck. Osborne on the edge of the box, can't quite get it. Beck tries to get onto the loose ball, well blocked, but they still have it on the right hand side with Clark. Feeds it down the right hand side. Gordon into the penalty area. He goes down, nothing doing. It's still going. Mafuta tries to keep things going. James Clark, ball into the box. It's low towards the edge of the penalty area. Rutherford collects, and away he's become long ball by Hodson up towards McCallum, who's having to feed on scraps at the moment as it goes all the way through to Simkin in the Solihull goal. Mafuta back to Simkin. He wants the ball again, but Simkin's just telling him to get up the pitch as he just is happy to just slow things down. The game has become a little bit frantic in the last 5. 21.5 minutes gone, 0-0. Live on BBC Radio Solo. Clamping goes up with Clark. The ball falls to the feet of Josh Kelly on that right hand side. He tries to wriggle away from his man, and the loose ball is hacked clear by Charlie Carter. He's been fairly quiet so far in this game, and it goes all the way through to Simkin once more. Out to the left to Cade Craig in the left centre back position. He goes back to his goalkeeper under pressure from Oscar Rutherford. Plenty of chances so far. Cade Craig trying to get away from Rutherford. He gets it into Jamie Osborne, who's ever present in the centre of the pitch so far. Morrison out towards that far side. Nico Gordon steps away from Boldevine, who hit the post in the opening 10. Mafuta stands on the ball on halfway over towards this left hand side, still in the Solihull half, and under pressure from Rutherford. Craig has to go back to his goalkeeper. Not a great deal happening now at the back, is Simkin just happy to play around. This is Eastleigh finished pre-season with a dramatic 3-2 win, but Kelly brings it down 25 yards out, tries to work his shot, plays it down the right hand side for Clark, pulls it back towards the edge of the penalty area. Rabokier is able to gather that. Boldevine, can he get away from his man? Up to McCallum, he then overlaps, and now Boldevine can race down the left hand side. This is a chance now for Eastleigh to break forward. Rutherford away in the centre, Boldevine into the middle to McCallum, Rutherford to his right, he tries to feed it to Charlie Carter, edge of the box, shoots just wide of the right post. Simkin was scrambling, really good move there by Eastleigh as the ball was played down the left hand side to Boldevine, and he intelligently cut in onto his right foot, played it across to Paul McCallum, who found Charlie Carter about 20 yards out. Right footed low shot that went about a yard wide of Tommy Simkin's right hand post. The scores remain here at the Armco Arena. Solihull 0, Eastleigh 0. Just 23 minutes gone. Not the start that Pompey would have wanted in League One. They trail at home to Bristol Rovers after such an exciting summer. Lots of big signings. They have fallen behind. Follow that commentary on all of our radio frequencies with Andy Moon and Guy Whittingham as Joe Newton manages to get a flick on for Mark Beck, and he's got some space in front of him. left corner of the penalty area. He's got Kelly into the penalty area now, onto his left foot shot, angle's quite tight, played for handball, nothing given, corner ball. Really tight angle that Josh Kelly was trying to work. There was Joe Newton, signed from Hamilton Waterlooville, who got a really good flick on from Mark Beck on the halfway line, and he had a bit of grass ahead of him, but he wasn't quite able to get away from the feet of Lee Hodson. Corner on this near side. Osborne into the box towards the far post, drops towards the edge of the box. Across comes Labadie. Josh Newton in a crossing position into the centre of the pitch. Drops. Might fall to a striker here. It doesn't. Across comes Joe McDonnell. There's a foul in the box. It's Langston who's gone down. He's fallen to a heap, and this does not look good. He looks to be in a lot of pain. It's Carl Morrison who stuck out a leg trying to poke the ball home. Langston's now back up onto his haunches, but that one would definitely have hurt. 25 minutes gone, 0-0 in the opening game of the National League. You just missed it. Live from BBC Radio Solent, all of our radio frequencies. Portsmouth trail by goal to 0 at Fratton Park to Bristol Rovers. Thomas with that goal, and just while there's a bit of a lull in proceedings, just have a quick cast over my eye over other scores in the National League. Still Maidenhead lead Fylde by goal to 0. Southend leading Oldham. Gateshead also leading Boreham Wood. No goals elsewhere. It remains goalless here. Paul McCallum trying to win that aerial battle. He doesn't. The ball goes out of play on this near side, but the final touch comes off a Solihull man as we now over the halfway point of the first half. Goalless here live on BBC Radio Solent, online on your smart speaker. Into the 26th minute here. Hodson to Taylor, back to Hodson on that near side. The deflection comes off Jamie Osborne. It'll be another Spitfires throw in line with the edge of the penalty area on this near side, down to my right. Eastleigh have had 3 massive chances so far. McCallum heading over the bar, and Baldwin cutting in from about 25 yards and cracking an effort off the far post. Labuoke manages to win himself a throw down by the corner flag on this near side. It'll be Lee Hodson into the penalty area. Charlie Carter lets it run towards the edge of the box, and Kay Craig is able to get it up towards halfway. Chance for Mark Beck. Can he just wait for a few men to overlap? He doesn't. It's a poor ball, but the ball down to Hodson, just a bit ahead of him. He's not happy with that ball from Jake Taylor, and it'll be a throw in to Solihull on this near side, midway inside their own half. 27 minutes gone here, 0-0. Plenty of change during the summer for Eastleigh. One of those big signings, Chris Maguire on the bench. It's a really experienced, I know, of course, former Pompey, Sheffield Wednesday, and Derby forward. I'm sure we'll see him in the second half if Eastleigh are looking for a goal. He's just doing a few warm-ups. Away to my left is James Durkin, just wants the ball to be played down that right-hand side. Ball comes off an Eastleigh man, throw in on this near channel to Solihull. Cade Craig, long throw over halfway in search of Beck, and the big forward manages to get it into Kelly, but only as far as an Eastleigh man, and the ball forward by Nuavoke. It's collected. Simkin now. Clark on the right hand side in the right back position, over halfway, trying to find Labadie down the right hand channel. Langston, who's managed to run off that injury, get back to McDonnell under a bit of pressure, high into the Midland sky. Seems as though the rain definitely has eased, but it's very wet out there. The ball getting stuck on the pitch a couple of times. Kay Craig in the left centre back position, under pressure from Rutherford. Tommy Simpkin, he wants options in goal as we approach the half-hour mark. Bradbury, overall he will be pleased with what he's seen so far from the side in this first half. They have allowed Solihull to get back into the game a little bit after having some early pressure. Mafuta into the centre of the pitch as the ball is played down the right hand side, and the flag stays down. Clark into the box on his left foot, and now the flag does go up after the ball was allowed to travel down the right hand side, but we've seen that plenty of times, especially in the last season. Let the play carry on, let it develop, and if it comes to nothing, then the flag will go up. But Eastleigh, it's a free kick on the left hand side. Lee Bradbury just remonstrating with the fourth official. He felt that it was such an obvious offside, that why wasn't it given straight away. Good crowd here at the Armco for the first game of the season. Joe McDonnell hits it up into the sky in front of that roofless stand on the far side with a few brave people with umbrellas as the ball is hit over the top, and this might be a chance for Solihull, and the flag goes up. Flag goes up again after Kelly was put in down the right hand side. Lee Bradbury again frustrated, and he wants inside to take it quick with Wabuoke over towards this right hand side to Hodson, into Martin in the right centre-back position. Bit of a lull in the game at the moment. Onto the chest of McCallum on this near side, on the centre. Hodson up towards Rutherford as Jake Taylor makes a run. Rutherford comes in central. It's a good challenge by Joe Newton, and he combines with Mark Beck on this near side, and then Rutherford wins the ball back off him, the former Hawks defender, as Eastleigh now have it back in possession with the captain Aaron Martin. He goes all the way back to his goalkeeper under pressure from Jamie Osborne, who the captain for Solihull, covering every blade of grass so far, as McCallum tries to flick it on into the centre. Boldevine trying to run onto it, but that goes all the way back to Simpkin. His ball forward is fairly low, but finds the feet of Beck, and he's got options now to his left. Joe Newton on halfway, lofted ball round the back, but Aaron Martin reads that really well. This proposed experience interception as Martin has it back again. Jake Taylor into the middle to Nwabuoke. He almost loses the ball against Mafuta, but Spitfires have it once more in the left rack position with Ryan Clampin. The ball forward is just intercepted by Clark, goes out for a Spitfires throw on that far side, 10 yards inside the Eastleigh half. Live on BBC Radio Solent. National League commentary is the flick on by Charlie Carter. Tommy Simpkin actually comes really far out to collect about 30 yards as Rutherford collects on halfway. Jake Taylor tries to play the first time ball, but it's to absolutely no one but Cade Craig in the left centre back position under no pressure out towards this near side. Joe Newton steps away from Rutherford over halfway. Rutherford scampers back, tries to win the ball off him. He could have sworn that he won the throw. Joe Newton is furious, but it is an Eastleigh ball. Nwabuoke in his own half, now to Langston, left centre back position, cuts in onto his right foot, now to Martin, the centre back partner, under a bit of pressure from Mark Beck, just hits it first time over halfway. McCallum might be able to get onto that ball over the top. Simpkin takes no risks at all, comes across, hits it out for a throw on this near side, midway inside the Solihull half. Hodson comes across to take this. No real clear-cut chances in the last 10 minutes or so. Wabuoke now to Hodson on this near side, tries to drive down the right channel, finds Rutherford, but he's easily charged off the ball by Osborne up towards halfway, and Beck plays it first time down the left hand side to Kelly, and Kelly can get to the into the box, left corner, tries to shot, and it's just brilliantly saved by Joe McDonnell from the left corner of the penalty area, cutting on his right foot from about 20 yards, trying to just curl it into the bottom left hand corner. Joe McDonnell again brilliantly to just sprawl away to his left and get the ball out of play. There will be a corner kick on that far side. Another brilliant chance there for Josh Kelly. He managed to stretch the legs down that left hand side, and Solihull just making their mark on proceedings at the moment. Eastleigh letting them just get down that left hand side, and it's really good link up play, especially with Mark Beck, as Newton leaves the corner on that far side to be taken by Captain Osborne. Low ball, and it comes towards Labadie, and it's blocked towards the edge of the box. He cries for a handball. Back to Osborne, left-footed ball into the penalty area. Headers go towards the edge of the box. Langston gets on to the end of that. James Clark on this left-hand side. Back to Cade Craig. Solihull trying to keep the attack going up into the box, and it's well gathered by Joe McDonnell. He wants a quick outlet, and then he just tells things to calm down. Josh Labadie there with the shot that was blocked from the edge of the box. It was a really nice corner routine, low ball towards the edge of the penalty area, but now Clampin can bring it away for the Spitfires. Down the left hand side, trying to find the legs of Boldevine. Can he keep it in play on that far channel? He can. He does keep it in play, up against Morrison, onto his right foot, brings it back. He's got Clampin for support, tries to backheel it to his left back. was making an overlapping run, but it goes out of play for a throw to Eastleigh on that far side. 0-0, 34 minutes gone here in the Midlands. Carter back to Clampin, down the left hand side, fancy feet, back to Baldivine, just caged in on that left hand side, but that's really good play, and Charlie Carter can get towards the byline on the left hand side, back to Jake Taylor, he goes down. Will there be a penalty? The referee says good up, no foul, as Mafuta tries to bring it away for Solihull. Back into the middle to Labadie, right of centre. Clark now across the face of the box, and it will be with Cade Craig as Solihull just try to calm things down. Up towards halfway, Mark Beck can't quite get across to that, and Rabaroke clears it out of play on this near side for a Solihull throw. They're really coming to life here. Another penalty shout. Paul McCallum receives the ball back to goal on this near side. Ball goes out of play for an Eastleigh throw. Jake Taylor wants him to take it quickly, but he leaves it for Hodson into the box, trying to find the likes of Taylor. Taylor manages to get behind, deflection, and it goes out of play for a corner kick on this near side. Oh, Jake Taylor found the ball, bounced towards him, had a shot, and it took a touch off the back. I think it was with Cade Craig, and that almost took it into his own net, but it will be a corner kick to Eastleigh. Nil-nil, just over 35 minutes gone here at the Armco Arena. This game really has sparked to life in the last few minutes. A chance there on one end for Josh Kelly, and then the Spitfires going up the other end. Possible penalty shout. Really good feat by Baldivine, who's now over to take the corner on this near side. He's got Hodson for company for a short ball, but he floats it towards the back stick. Simpkin gets a palm towards the edge of the box. Jake Taylor with the volley, and that's spooned and scuffed and sliced out of play for a goal kick from this near side. You may have been able to hear the ironic cheers as he saw his headlines in the newspapers as the ball fell to him on the edge of the box, and the experienced midfielder thought, I'm going to have a go. And it was not the Hollywood finish that he was expecting. Elsewhere in the National League, 1-1 between Aldershot and Oxford City. Barnet have the lead against Hartlepool. It's 1-1 between Chesterfield and Dorking. Gateshead have doubled their lead against Boreham Wood. Maidenhead United also, they lead Fylde by 2-0. Southend also lead Oldham, but no goals elsewhere, no goals here in the Midlands. Mark Beck and Raboke tussle for the ball in the middle. Beck, who brings it down on his chest on his near side, then bundled to the floor. Referee says no. He's let a lot go. It's the ball up to McCallum. Does it come off him last? It doesn't. He wins a throw, throws it down the right to Rutherford, who tries to keep it in play. McCallum lets the ball run, or is it a lack of control? Either way, Solihull have it in play with Osborne. He's bundled to the floor by Jake Taylor, just short of the centre circle inside the Eastleigh half, and the free kick is given. Is there going to be a yellow card for Jake Taylor? No. It's Jamie Osborne who will take this. Doesn't look like they're going to go for a ball into the box just at the moment. He actually goes behind him to Carl Morrison. Receives the ball again. Osborne takes it over towards that far side. Nico Gordon wants it, but he tries to feed it to Clark in the centre of the Eastleigh half, and that's a terrible ball, and he might have released Rutherford over halfway. He's got options to his left. Rutherford, quick feet, and he just took one touch too many. Cade Craig came across and nipped the ball away from the 20-year-old. It goes all the way back to Tommy Simpkin, who's happy just to take his time into the final 8 minutes or so of the first half here on opening day in the National League. Simpkin over halfway towards this near side. Martin and Beck tussling once again up into the air by Rabaroke. Goes out of play on this near side. After some neat intricate play, a few long balls just starting to creep in. Cade Craig leaves it for Joe Newton on halfway, just inside the Eastleigh half on this near side. Up the line towards Beck, but Hodson gets a foot onto it, and the ball back to Langston is slightly precarious. Osborne collects it, left corner of the box, down the left hand side now to Newton. Ball into the box, it's dreadful, and that's actually gone over the stand and out for a goal kick. And we're going to need new balls, please. 38.5 minutes gone. Solihull 0, Eastleigh 0. McDonnell now out to the right. Hodson right centre-back position. Straight ball over halfway, trying to find McCallum. He's not getting that. He's fairly annoyed that he's not able to challenge for that. Newton collects on this near side for Solihull. Bit of a slip from Jake Taylor. Labadie, the one who got a touch on Taylor, and that'll be a free kick to Eastleigh. Just getting away with one there. That looked fairly innocuous. Jake Taylor almost looked like he just got touched by thin air there. But either way, it'll be free kick to Eastleigh midway inside their own half on this near side as we're slowly approaching the last 5 minutes of this first half. Goalless here, live on BBC Radio Solent. Ball is played down the right for Charlie Carter. The rain might just take that out, but he manages to keep it in play. Takes a deflection off Cade Craig, and he wins himself and inside a corner on that near side. That looked like that might have been a foregone conclusion, but he did well to keep the ball in play and then to win a set piece. What can Enzo Baldovine muster up from here? 40th minute here at the Armco Arena. Hodson comes short, but the big men are up from the back, although the referee's not quite happy with what he's seeing in the 6-yard box at the moment. James Durkin having a few words with Aaron Martin there, but Enzo Baldovine on this near side. It'll be a right-footed out swinger. Arm goes up in the air, plays it short to Hodson, up against Newton. Baldovine making an underlapping run. Hodson can't quite get it into the penalty area, and that might have looked like a wasted set piece as Jake Taylor tries to get down the right hand side. Crossing to the box is blocked. That first time ball by Baldovine deflected up into the air, and Eastleigh have to force it all the way to the back. Rutherford tries to get a ball over towards that left hand side on the run of Ryan Clampin, but it goes out of play for a goal kick. Final 5 minutes here of normal time in this first half. We're wondering just how many minutes of added time we'll be seeing now with the new regulations of trying to keep the game going as much as possible, have the ball in play, and for that player behaviour as well. Haven't really seen too many bad challenges so far, a few innocuous ones as Beck and Wabroke coming together in the middle. Paul McCallum really having his shirt taken off there as he tries to win an aerial battle, but it'll be Clark on halfway on that far side, manages to work away from Clampin into the middle to Mafuta, up to Beck, 30 yards from goal, down the right hand side for Clark, up against Ryan Clampin. Can they get the ball into the box, back onto his left foot? He's forced back to Mafuta, very central inside his own half, up against Charlie Carter, infield to Morrison, into Jamie Osborne, right corner of the penalty area. Clark tries to rustle away from Ryan Clampin, but he can't quite do it, but it will be a throw into Solihull on the far side. Throw into the penalty area. Beck back to goal, tries to flick it forward, and Joe McDonnell comes across, collects it well, and up towards halfway. Nico Gordon in possession down the right hand side. It's really good feet by the centre back, up towards the right hand side of the penalty area, towards the edge of the box. He goes, feeds it back. Here comes to Labadie, 30 yards out from goal, out right to Nico Gordon. James Clark gets the ball into the box, towards the back stick. Up goes Joe Newton towards the back post, and Joe McDonnell gathers that one well. He wants to get the ball underway quickly, but he can't quite do that as Beck and Kelly do well to just suffocate any outlet. Clampin down the left hand side now to Baldovine on halfway. Last few minutes of normal time. What can Eastleigh get going? Really poor ball there by Baldovine, but he's got lucky as there was a foul by Labadie inside the Solihull half. And that's actually a yellow card for Josh Labadie. It was off the ball, an off the ball challenge there as Enzio Baldovine tried to wriggle his way through the middle. It will be a free kick on halfway. Wabroke, it's Carter to his left. Clamper now on halfway. They don't really go to move it forward. Aaron Martin on this near side. Now he hits it long, trying to find the run of Paul McCallum. He gets a head onto it, but falls to a Solihull player in Joe Newton. His ball only finds Aaron Martin. Edge of the box, Taylor, nice 1-2. McCallum now, 25 yards from goal. Little options, loses possession, and now there's a chance for Solihull to break over halfway. Osborne is just brought down to his feet by Maboke, who then gets a quick route into the book this afternoon, and it'll be a free kick to Solihull right at the centre circle as we enter the final minute of normal time here at the Armco. The game just starting to fizzle out in this first half at the moment. No real clear-cut chances recently, but can either side get themselves ahead before the break? 0-0 live on BBC Radio Solent. Jordan Clark will have all of your texts and tweets at half time. Get them into him at Solent Sport. Ball over the top. Eastleigh to absolutely no one. Tommy Simpkin will collect that with no real bother. Long diagonal left-footed ball, trying to find the head of Newton, but it finds Aaron Martin over halfway. Labadie heads it forward, a bit of head tennis going on as a loud jet goes overhead. Mark Beck manages to win that. Osborne on this near side, infield. Labadie 30 yards from goal, left of centre, into the middle now to Josh Kelly. He's brought down by Nwaboke. It's a really good challenge. No foul, says the referee, and Boldivine over towards this near side. 5 minutes of added time here at the Armco. Well, there you go. The new added time here, 5 minutes. It's actually 8 minutes of added time at Fratton Park. So a lot more football to go in this first half. Langston takes the free kick quickly. Clampton tries to feed Boldivine down the left-hand side. Can he use his pace to beat his man? He can't, and the ball is ushered back to Tommy Simpkin in the Solihull goal. He wants to get things going once more, up towards halfway. Beck the target, as he has been for much of the long balls, long direct play from Solihull. This is chance for Boldivine as he gets onto a free ball down the left-hand side. What's he going to do? Plays it down the left channel to Nwaboke, into the box, onto his right foot. He shoots, blocked, out of play for a throw on that far side. Lovely bit of play there. Boldivine and Nwaboke just connecting down that left-hand side. A really good fake by Nwaboke onto his right foot. Although he had options in the box, he wanted to go for goal, but it was well blocked at the near post. Clamping with the throw on the far side. Nwaboke loses possession. Clark gets it up towards halfway for Solihull. Searching for Beck. Josh Kelly can use a bit of pace to get away from Langston. Gets on the loose ball, and he does. And he takes it down the right-hand side. Langston going him from step for step. Still Kelly, he's only got one option in the box, and that's Joe Newton. Down the right, he waits for James Clark. Crossing opportunity up against Clampin. Back onto his left foot. He's forced back up towards halfway. Nico Gorton into Josh Labadie. And they go all the way back to halfway where Carl Morrison hits it out of play on that far side. And I think there's a player, I think it's Josh Kelly. He's just in a spot of bother on that far side. Might have a little bit of added time to the already long bits of added time. He's just feeling it. It looks like the back of his right leg at the moment, but it looks like he's happy to continue, although he is still grabbing it, and another player has come down. That looks like Gus Mafuta. He's also hit the deck. So a bit of a stoppage here in stoppage time. It's about 2.5 minutes of the added 5 gone. Just tell you about some scores elsewhere. York have taken the lead at Wealdstone. Southend still lead Oldham by a goal to 0. Fylde got a goal back at Maidenhead United. Maidenhead, the home side, lead 2-1. Gateshead still 2-0 up at Borehamwood. Chesterfield and Dorking, a couple of quick goals there. They're 1-1. Barnet lead Hartlepool, and Aldershot have regained the lead against Oxford City. They lead by 2-1. Elsewhere in the football pyramid, Sutton United, they beat currently leading Notts County. Not the start to life in League 2 that Notts County would have been hoping for, especially after such a dramatic way that they made it to League 2. Wrexham have got a goal back against MK Dons in their first game of the season. Portsmouth, they trail by a goal to 0 to Bristol Rovers in League 1. Certainly not the start that John Messino would have hoped for his side, especially with the goal being promotion. The players are just coming over at the moment to get some drinks. Gus Mafuta is up at the moment. It's Josh Kelly who's still feeling something on this near side. I think we're going to have a little bit of further added on time here, as we've already had about to enter the 4th minute of the 5 in the Championship. Well, Watford are currently thrashing QPR by 4-0. Swansea, they trail at home to Birmingham. Plymouth, the new boys, lead against Huddersfield. Hull have the lead at Norwich, although, as I said, that Norwich have just equalised. Middlesbrough, Millwall 0-0. Middlesbrough, one of the promotion favourites, and certainly one expected to challenge towards the top half of the table. Bristol City, Preston 0-0, and Blackburn have a 2-0 lead against West Brom on the Championship opening day. Of course, last night was when it all got going in the EFL, and it was live on BBC Radio Solent. Adam Blackmore and Joe Tessam up at Hillsborough as Saints started life under Russell Martin in the Championship with a 2-1 win. Shay Adams with a late goal to secure all 3 points for the away side. The perfect start for them under Russell Martin, and quite the stat. Well over 900 passes. And we are going to have a change, actually. Josh Kelly is not going to be able to continue. Mafuta is able to come on, but it does not look like Josh Kelly. That looks like Josh Kelly is the one, but his game is already run, and that's a shame inside the first half. I'm just trying to get his number 14, who's going to be coming on. Jack Stevens will be coming on. Can't imagine there'll be a great deal of added on time. Jack Stevens now just making his way towards the edge of the pitch. No, you haven't missed anything if you've only just joined us. It's 0-0, approaching half time. Up towards halfway. Can any side find a breakthrough? Ball back with Tommy Simkin. Eastleigh hit the post early on in the game. Boldevine cutting in on his right foot from the left corner of the box, and Oscar Rutherford had a 1-on-1 chance that was really well sailed by Tommy Simkin on loan from Stoke City. Got a great hand to that, and now the change is going to be allowed to be made. It is a throw to Eastleigh down by the corner flag away to my left, but Josh Kelly is the one who's coming off for Jack Stevens. That's just confirmed by the PA overhead. Still a few minutes to go here, but you imagine being added on after those 2 injuries. Throw midway inside the Eastleigh half on this near side. Cade Craig will allow Joe Newton to take this up towards Beck. First chance here for Jack Stevens. Finds Clark, dinks it into the box, headed from Beck, it goes backwards. Mafuta manages to collect it 30 yards out. Central, out towards this near side to Craig. Can he get the ball in the box? He does, and there comes across Mark Beck up into the air. Eastleigh haven't got it away just yet. Jake Taylor up towards halfway, but Mafuta will collect it once again in that central pivot. Away from Charlie Carter, he tries to wriggle, and it goes back towards halfway to Carl Morrison. Under a bit of pressure from Paul McCallum, goes all the way back to his goalkeeper Simkin, and he hits it first time up towards halfway. Joe Newton keeps it in play. Does he? The flag goes up. It will be a throw to Eastleigh on this near side. Now into the 8th minute of added time here. It's been a bit end-to-end at times, a bit scrappy. The weather certainly hasn't helped as McCallum tries to release Carter down the right-hand side, and that's a great challenge across by Nico Gordon. Gets a good right foot to that, but Eastleigh have a throw down to my right by the corner flag. Can they get the ball into the box for a final time? Surely this will be the last action of the half, you would think. Hodson, the ball to Rutherford, comes off his feet, and there goes the half-time whistle from James Durkin. All square at the break at the Armco Arena. Eastleigh, well, they really should be ahead so far in this first half. A few gilt-edged chances for them. Paul McCallum early on in the first half, heading across just over the bar. It would have been a perfect return for him to the Spitfires. Boldevine on the left-hand side, about 5 minutes later, cut in onto his right foot, crashed across a shot against the post on this far side, and then Paul McCallum and Rutherford linking with a one-on-one situation, fed Rutherford, and this shot was really well saved. Strong right hand by Tommy Simpkin, who's been really impressive so far in the Solihull goal. Not really any clear-cut chances for Solihull themselves. Josh Kelly, who came off injured, with the best chance of the half for them as he cut in on his left hand from this left-hand side onto his right foot and tried to bend it into the far corner, but it was well saved by Joe McDonnell. Get all of your texts and tweets into Jordan Clark at half-time. He'll read out the best ones. As I gather, Portsmouth, they still trail by a 0-0 at Bristol Rovers. I'll be back for the second half in just about 10 minutes' time for commentary of Eastleigh against Solihull. Live on BBC Radio Solent and online and on your smart speaker, the half-time score here: Solihull Moors 0, Eastleigh 0.
Players back out in the Midlands at Solihull Moors, where Eastleigh are goalless at the break. The second half is available on BBC Sounds. There are links on the BBC Sport website, and you can find them on @SolentSport on Twitter as well. Your commentator for the next 45 minutes is Tom Murray.
Thank you, Jordan. We're back underway here at the Armco Arena as Ryan Clampin tries to fit it down the left-hand side for Enzo Boldevine. Eastleigh trying to start this half quickly. Clampin, he's got two men in front of him, back to Boldevine, onto his right foot, crossing opportunity towards the back stick. It goes over everybody, headed back into the box as it comes down, and McCallum's shot tries to get it towards goal. Deflection out already for the first corner of this second half, away to my left on that far side. Only about 40 seconds of the second half gone so far. The score remains 0-0. Eastleigh having the better of the clear-cut chances in the first half, but Solihull Moors certainly biting back with a few chances of their own. It's a shame that Josh Kelly had to go off injured inside the first half, but it's Jack Stevens who has replaced him. Corner from Boldevine towards the back stick. Simkin leaks well and gathers, rolls it out towards this right hand side where Jamie Osborne tries to stretch the legs away from Nuabuoke. Has to go back to James Clark, and Charlie Carter just bundles him over. They look fairly identical, James Clark and Charlie Carter, both liking the sort of Jack Grealish headband and the socks down by the ankles. Clampin on this near side for the Spitfires, midway inside the Solihull half, 0-0 in front of his manager Lee Bradbury. Towards the edge of the box, left side, McCallum tries to bring it down. He does, back to Clampin. Tries to go away from two men. 25 yards out is McCallum. His ball into the middle is poor, and ball comes all the way back to Langston in his first time pass out towards this near side. Goes out of play for a throw to Solihull. 2 minutes inside the 2 minutes gone here. Second half, live on BBC Radio Solent. Clark, throw up towards halfway on this near channel. Beck goes up for it as he has been all afternoon. Langston, his ball forward is deflected up towards halfway, comes off an Eastleigh man last. Solihull throw. Clark gathers a few paces down that right hand side. Beck heads it, comes only to Langston, who's able just to let it roll towards McDonnell, who can pick that up. Quickly finds Hodson on this right hand side. Rutherford, under pressure from two Solihull players, gets it back in possession into the middle. That's a poor ball forward, and it's brought down by Nico Gordon. Left hand side, his pass is poor. Rutherford can't quite get it out of his feet, but they still have it in possession. To Eastleigh on halfway on that far side, ball lofted over towards this near channel, aiming for McCallum, but the big man up top not able to get that under control. Morrison, he then goes for a lofted ball. Aaron Martin just lets that roll past him all the way to Joe McDonnell, away to my right. Eastleigh shooting from right to left as I look. I'm just left of halfway, thankfully under cover in what has been a very windy and wet August afternoon. Not the weather that you want for the season opener. Just been speaking to a fellow colleague who expected at this time to have shorts on. Solihull coming forward with Jack Stevens, tries to get a 1-2 with Mark Beck. but he loses possession against Jake Taylor. Now with Clampin down the left side, tries to get it up to McCallum, who's found himself wide. Charlie Carter trying to just dazzle away from a couple of players. Into Jake Taylor, late challenging, but they have it to Eastleigh. Through the centre now with Mwabuoke. Can he find it out towards the right hand side? He can. He finds Hodson, right hand side. Ball towards the back stick. McCallum, bit of a tussle in the middle, but the ball goes out of play on this near side for a Solihull throw. Nice movement. Jake Taylor again involved in the centre. It's certainly a good battle between him and Mafuta. James Clark now. Solihull, blue shorts, blue socks with yellow shirts and blue shoulders. Eastleigh all in orange. Mwabuoke can't quite believe that he's given away a foul. Neither can Lee Bradbury. But it is a free kick to the home side, just right of centre, right of the centre circle on this near side, still inside their own half. James Clark to take this. Lee Bradbury doing well just to keep inside his technical areas. The free kick is hit long down the right hand side in search of Jack Stevens, but there was very little danger to the Eastleigh defence, and it will be a goal kick away to my right. Opening 5 minutes gone here in the National League opening afternoon. Solihull and Eastleigh 0-0. Certainly getting a little heated on the pitch now. Certainly Lee Bradbury getting his thoughts across to the referee James Durkin. Elsewhere in the National League, as bring some scores in a moment, as Mark Beck's ball is just behind Newton, the former Havant and Waterlooville left back, and a bit of pressure there being put on by Rutherford and McCallum, but Solihull have it under control, and that's a poor ball, and again Mwabuoke's path forward is fairly rubbish, and that's collected well by Solihull. They can build again, although a bit of pressure from Jake Taylor. They have to go all the way back to Simpkin as the rain has started in its droves once more, as Langston lets the ball bounce over him, and under pressure from Jack Stevens, who slips in the rain. It does find its way all the way through to Joe McDonnell, who rolls it out to his right. Aaron Martin, who's come short in the right centre-back position. Up towards Hodson, tries to just flick it down the right to Oscar Rutherford, but it goes out of play for a throw, bang on halfway on that far side. Other scores elsewhere: Aldershot 3, Oxford 1, Barnet 1, Hartlepool 0, Chesterfield and Dorking a goal apiece. It's almost difficult to see through the rain at the moment. It's coming down in its droves. Free kick taken quickly. Eastleigh have it in possession on halfway. Clamping on this near side. Touch to his left, brings it over halfway. Baldovine is short, does find the Dutchman. Skips onto his right foot. The former Notts County man has to go back to Clampin. Now in the middle to Mwabuoke. Under pressure from Labadie. Over towards that far side to Lee Hodson. Tries a 1-2 with Rutherford. Rutherford doesn't provide the 2. That goes back to Aaron Martin on halfway. Eastleigh just trying to work it around, try and work something for Rutherford, as the ball in field to Charlie Carter is not quite headed on to his Eastleigh counterpart, and goes out of play for a throw on the far side. 0-0 here live on BBC Radio Solent, online and on your smart speaker if you want to hear live commentary of Pompey's opening game in League One with Andy Moon and Guy Whittingham. That's on all of our radio frequencies. Score there at the moment: Portsmouth 0, Bristol Rovers 1. Lee Bradbury just throws his arms up in the air, and there's another free kick given Solihull's way on that far side in the left back position. Bitty, I think, is the best way to describe the start of the second half so far. It was Eastleigh who started electrically in the first 45 with those chances from McCallum, Baldovine and Rutherford with the best of the bunch, forcing Simpkin into a great save to his right, but so far neither side really able to get a grasp of possession. This one very up in the air, a lot of head tennis going on. Mwabuoke up towards halfway, has the ball again, Clamping to his left, finds the left back with bleached blonde hair. Baldovine gets the knockdown, being forced back towards halfway. Carter brings it away to the left. He's got Clamping making an underlapping run, but flicks it infield to Baldovine, skips away from Osborne into the centre to Mwabuoke, over towards the fast now to Hodson, but Eastleigh forced back. They try and come forward once more, down the right channel. Rutherford, infield to Hodgson, in the box, crosses it across the face of goal, deflection, corner on the far side. First time that Eastleigh really picked Solihull apart. It was a lovely 1-2 between Hodgson and Rutherford. Hodgson made the run infield, Rutherford found him, and his ball back across the face of goal found Nico Gordon, and it goes out of play for a corner on the far side. Another set piece for Solihull to contend with. Boldevine to take this. Big man up from the back once more. Rutherford, the furthest one back, is a bit of argy-bargy in the centre of the penalty area. James Durkin not quite happy with what he's seen so far, just needs to get a hold on what's going on. Lee Bradbury just giving a couple of hand signals as well with Ryan Clampin, what he wants to see from this set piece. First 10 minutes of the second half, 0-0, ball into towards the box. It is aimed for Clampin, goes over everybody, come towards the edge of the box. Clampin, right footed shot, and it's saved at the near post. Eastleigh still have it in possession. McCallum turns away from his man on the byline. He's brought down, no foul. Still in the penalty area goes Clampin, but then comes towards the edge of the box. Jake Taylor out towards Charlie Carter, left footed onto his right foot, cross it towards the back stick. Header goes into the back of the net, and Eastleigh take the lead. Enzo Boldevine on his debut, 1-0. Charlie Carter lofted the ball from this near side of the box towards the back stick, and Boldevine was there to rise highest and head it into the back of the net. And the Spitfires, with just 10 minutes gone of the second half, have got the breakthrough, and they lead here in the Midlands as the rain comes crashing down. Lee Bradbury will be delighted with that. It was certainly starting to get a little bit scrappy as the weather starts to turn here in the Midlands, but Eastleigh have found the breakthrough, and it's the breakthrough that they've really deserved so far. They've had a lot of clear-cut chances in the first half, and they've been putting them under pressure, Solihull, in the second, but they lead. The Solihull try and bounce back immediately, but their ball forward finds its way back towards Joe McDonnell. So Eastleigh get their noses in front. First goal in the Spitfires colour for Enzo Boldevine. Really good header, unmarked, from about 6 yards out, just crashed it into the back of the net. Can they build on this now, Eastleigh? Clampin on this left hand side, left back position, in towards Nwabuoke, back to Clampin, first time ball to Langston. Jack Stevens slips again as he tries to put a bit of pressure on. Paul McCallum's header forward goes out of play on towards this near side. Throw in goes Solihull's way. James Clark, as the rain pelts onto the pitch, I think Jack Stevens is not going to be the first player, not going to be the last player to slip this afternoon. Cade Craig down the left hand side. How can Solihull respond? Well, Craig finds himself down the left hand side, cross into the box. McDonnell gathers at the front post. Lee Bradbury just wanting a bit of calm as the ball is rolled out towards this near side with Clampin up towards halfway. The goal scorer Boldevine with his back to goal up against Clark. Clark forces the Dutchman to Langston, hits it first time, aiming for McCallum right side of the centre circle. Nwabuoke out to Boldevine on this near side. He goes down under a challenge. Jamie Osborne, the Solihull captain, can't quite believe it, but it will be a free kick the Spitfires way. Their fluorescent orange kit lighting things up in the Midlands as things stand, as the floodlights come on. Down the right hand side now with Rutherford. He cuts in the field, 30 yards from goal. Carter's in the middle if he wants him. Jake Taylor just happy to recycle possession. Taylor once more, and the 31-year-old skips away from Labadie, gets up onto his feet quickly, but the referee wants him to retake the free kick. I think he just wants a word with Gus Mafuta. Jamie Osborne just coming across the Solihull captain to have a word as well. Approaching the final half an hour here at the Armco Arena, and it's Eastleigh who have the deserved lead through Enzio Boldivine. I can't quite believe there are still people under umbrellas on that far side. The weather is hideous at the moment, but you know, fair play to them. Eastleigh now down the right hand side. Hodson cuts back onto his left foot, in towards the back stick, and it goes up in the air. Simpkin punches it towards the edge of the box. Carter can't quite bring it down. Radwoke, 20 yards, fires it into the feet of Boldivine. Can he get a 1-2? He can't. Carter from the edge of the box, that's been blocked. They can't quite get away to Solihull, but they do up to halfway now with Stevens under pressure from two Eastleigh men. Dinks it out towards this near side. He's asking James Clark quite a lot to keep it on this near side, but the right back does. Labadie now to Nico Gordon, the Birmingham City loanee, over towards that left-hand side. Mafuta in a centre-back position now, and over towards Nico Gordon, under pressure from Boldivine and McCallum. Has to go back to Simpkin in the Solihull goal. Over halfway now, trying to search the run of Mark Beck, who was really the anchor in the first half. Everything seemed to just stick to him, but so far he's not having a great deal of luck as it goes out of play for a throw on this near side, down by the corner flag away to my right. Clampin coming over to take. So 1-0 the Spitfires lead, live on BBC Radio Solent, online and on your smart speaker. Clampin with the throw, up halfway. Again, a bit of head tennis. Jamie Osborne trying to get that under control. He tries to get it down the right hand side. He does. Jack Stevens' ball into the box is blocked, and he wins his side a corner down to my right. Not a bad response from the home side to going behind. They've got a chance from the set piece to maybe draw themselves level immediately. As things stand, we're into the final half an hour of the opening day of the National League here in the Midlands, and it's Eastleigh who do have that 1-goal lead thanks to Enzio Boldivine. Two men over this, Osborne and Newton. Will be the right foot of Osborne towards the front post. Clampin gets a header to that, and Jake Taylor is going to try and keep it in play on this near side. He doesn't, and it will be a throw to Solihull on this near side, midway inside the Eastleigh half. Into Mafuta, and he manages to get the ball into the centre of the park now with Morrison. Over to his left to Cade Craig. He's got Joe Newton for company on that left hand side, and so it goes in field, and you just see the splashes every single time a foot hits the deck. There's a bit of splash there as Newton on that left hand side, left corner of the penalty area, crossing to the box in search of Mark Beck. Back post, it goes past everybody and goes out of play for a goal kick. James Clark at the back post, a bit of a handshake there between the two, between him and Joe McDonnell, as he almost got a foot to that, and that would have drawn things level at the back post, but as it stands, 1-0 Spitfires lead. Have a look at scores elsewhere whilst waiting for a goal kick to be taken. Watford still leading QPR by 4-0. Stoke 3-1 up on Rotherham. Norwich and Hull a goal apiece. West Brom got a goal back against Blackburn. McCallum tries to header it out towards the right to Oscar Rutherford, and he manages to take on Newton down the right, and he's still going Rutherford into the penalty area. That's over everybody, and that's going to roll out of play on this near side for a throw, but he gets applause from Lee Bradbury and a thumbs up. That was a really good driving run from the right back, but it does, his cross into the box was just too high as James Clark down towards the left, up the right in search of Beck, goes everyone but Clampin gets onto the loose ball, driving infield, quite central, finds Carter, now out to that right hand side to Hodson inside the Solihull half. Rutherford again trying to get away from his man, and he does, down the right hand side, trying to get away from Newton, ball into the penalty area, it bounces up, it's headed up by Morrison towards the right corner of the box, picked up by Rutherford towards the byline. Can he get another ball in? He's got Hodson for company. He's trying to work a ball into the penalty area, it does find its way, but Cade Craig heads it towards the edge of the box. Taylor picks it up, Hodson on the right side, he has to turn, go back towards halfway. Langston to Martin, and his ball forward to Taylor is poor, and Solihull will have it back in possession once more. Cade Craig in the left centre back position on across the face of his own box. Lofted ball towards halfway, just goes towards the left of Beck, and Clampin can pick it up in the centre circle, left side, over towards goal scorer Boldevine. He lines up his man, Nico Gordon, plays it down the left hand side to Clampin, into the penalty area. Can he pull it back? He does, but it's blocked. Corner Eastleigh on this near side. Lovely link-up play again between Boldevine and Clampin. They're getting a real chemistry, a real understanding down that left side. Saw it a couple of times in the first half, but now they're really starting to find some joy as James Clark wasn't able to be in two places at once. 63.5 minutes gone here at Damson Park, the Armco Arena. 1-0 Spitfires, live on BBC Radio Solent. Eastleigh fans behind that goal, just willing for another goal to go in. Boldevine plays it short, edge of the box. Rutherford 25 yards out, dinks it towards the back stick, and that's not going to trouble anybody. It actually goes straight into the Eastleigh fans. Wasted set piece, and Simkin just goes and gathers that as he'll take this goal kick. No changes so far in this second half. Of course, Solihull they were forced into a change in the first half. Josh Kelly pulling something in the back of his leg, looks like a hamstring. And it's Jack Stevens who's come on in his place. Lee Bradbury looking fairly drenched at the moment. Mark Beck tries to flick on the goal kick, and Jack Stevens is up against Clampin down the right side. Stevens and Clampin come together, and in the end Stevens is the one who's fouled Clampin. He can't quite believe that, nor can the Solihull fans behind that goal, that there will be a free kick to Eastleigh down to my right. And now the wind is starting to pick up, and I thought I was going to be fairly safe under cover from the rain. No, it's a little bit drizzly at the moment. What would you'd expect for the season opener in August? I was ready to pack my t-shirt and my shorts, but so far several layers on and a puffer coat. Ball in play, bit of a handball there, shout, but nothing given. Clark with the throw on halfway on this near side. Mafuta wants it, he gets it under pressure from Taylor. Clark once more, back to his goalkeeper Simkin. Hits it first time up towards halfway, towards the run of Jack Stevens. He can't quite get it under control, and it goes all the way through to Joe McDonald. Labadie and Carter come together. Ball falls to Clark, bit of a wrestling match in the middle, but Nico Gordon, it's a nice little pass, flicks it away from McCallum. Now Josh Labadie recycling possession at Solihull, and then they play it long for Mark Beck, and his header forward is straight to Langston, and he lets the ball go through him to Joe McDonald under a little bit of pressure, and Jack Stevens just collects that. 25 minutes of normal time to go here at the Armco. Eastleigh, if you just join us, Eastleigh lead in the 55th minute. Enzio Boldevine getting his first goal for the club since he moved from Notts County in the summer. Lovely header from about 6 yards out after a corner was recycled. Beck has the ball under control in the centre circle, plays it out towards his left to Stevens. Got Newton if he wants him, he finds him. Mafuta across the centre of the pitch finds Nico Gordon 25 yards from out. Will he have a shot? No, he dinks it into the box. Beck is the target, a push in the back, free kick to Eastleigh, and that's an easy one to give. Eastleigh actually play it quickly, and it's released Rutherford down the right hand side. He's got a lot to do if he wants to create a chance here. Joe Newton comes across well, and the former Hawks man wins the ball back for the home side, and they're able to get it to Josh Labadie. Rob Broke tries to put on a bit of a press, but it's back with Mufata. Now Labadie. What can Solihull work? Beck with his back to goal on halfway. He's come very deep to collect that. Plays it out towards the left-hand side. Now is Stevens. Tries to find Clark on the right-hand side of the box. He does find him. In onto his right foot. Up against Clampin. Into the penalty area. Back to goal is Stevens. Now to Osborne. Onto his left foot. Slices it wide. Takes a deflection though. And it will be a corner to Solihull as they're just ramping up the pressure. Lee Bradbury can't quite believe with the fourth official that that's actually been given, and as it stands, certainly has. It's another chance for Solihull Moors to get themselves back into the game. They trail 1-0. Mark Beck on the centre in the centre of the penalty area. Osborne with the ball towards the back post. Up goes Beck, header over the bar and wide, and goal kick. (1-0) Eastleigh lead here live on BBC Radio Solent. Summer of change for Eastleigh, plenty of turnover. Obviously, could they find the goals to replace those of the departed Danny Whitehall, who left for Scunthorpe United earlier on in the summer? Paul McCallum hasn't really had a lot of joy against. He's got 3 players around him and he's not fouled in the process. Across comes Nico Gordon. The ball isn't kept in play by Labadie. Clamping on this near side. Again, still no changes. Carter with this back against Labadie manages to wriggle away from his man down the left hand side to Baldovine, lines up Clark down the left channel, left corner of the penalty area. Carter making a run, his overlap. Clamping, left corner of the box, tries to skip away from his man, left foot ball into the penalty area towards the edge of the box. Can Osborne get there ahead of him? He can, but it's well collected by Langston, who immediately brings it over towards this near side. Clamping infield, under pressure from 2 players. He's still got it as Clamping up towards Baldovine. He manages to keep this Eastleigh move going. Baldovine tries to skip away with a nice little back heel, but across comes James Clark, and that'll be a throw in to the Spitfires on this near side, about 25 yards from the corner flag away to my left. About to enter the final 20 of normal time. Can Eastleigh hold on to this lead, or can they even double it? Clamping down the left channel towards the dead ball line. Ball goes out of play for another throw. This time Eastleigh's way. Got Carter for company.
Eastleigh might have another one in this game. Just to seal the deal.
A few players just starting to get ready. I think we're about to see Scott Quigley come on. As another throw goes to the Spitfires on this near side. It's probably about 5 yards from the corner flag away to my left. Scott Quigley, the former Stockport County man, about to make his debut. I imagine it would be for Paul McCallum. He's just being told to almost just sit back down as the throw to Carter. Tries to hook it first time into the box. He can't quite do that. Edge of the box, it falls to Jake Taylor. Behind him to Martin, 45 yards from goal. Tries to dink it into the box. It comes from Tommy Simpkin. He heads it to, managed to get a palm to that. Rabaroke trying to keep this move going towards the edge of the box. Carter goes up for the header. He doesn't win it. Up towards halfway, Jamie Osborne and Rabaroke. It's the Eastleigh man who brings it away down the left. He's managing to get a burst of pace. He does. Gets away from Labadie. Labadie manages to leave in a foot. But from Rabaroke, he can try and keep it in on this near side, but he can't. Solihull win it back. Captain Jamie Osborne brought down by Jake Taylor. Osborne goes down in a bit of a heap, a couple of rolls over, and now will be a chance for Eastleigh to make the change. Scott Quigley will be coming on, and it looks like a couple of changes as well for Solihull. So Paul McCallum is going to be coming off, to be expected. Scott Quigley takes his place. Changes as well for Solihull. Warburton and Maycock coming on. Gus McFadden, he's coming off. Maycock in his place.
Number 11, Matty Warburton, and also
Matty Warburton also coming on. Just need to find out who's coming on in his place. Mark Beck makes way. Matty Warburton on as his place, and the change for Eastleigh is Scott Quigley. He'll be coming on for Paul McCallum. Not to be on his debut, to be fair, it's been difficult for him against the back 5. He's had 3 centre backs to contend with, but it's been a good performance as well. He hasn't been selfish. There was a chance where he could have gone for a shot himself, fed it to Rutherford, and although Rutherford's shot was saved, there was great awareness from Paul McCallum. A few smiles and a slap on the back as he goes and takes his place on the bench. Ball forward now. Game has gone a bit scrappy. Newton on the left-hand side. Can Solihull get themselves back in the game? Osborne. Central, edge of the box. First time ball is poor, but it does make its way out towards this near side to Clark. Feeds it down the right channel to Warburton. Edge of the penalty area now. Labadie, right of centre, shoots, blocked, goes out of play, goes out of the stadium, and that's going to be the second new ball that we're going to need, but it is a corner to the home side, down to my right. Slowly approaching the final 15 of normal time. We have 5 minutes of time added on at the end of the first half. It'll be interesting to see just how much that's going to be in the second. Of course, there was corner taken short. Osborne towards the front post, header down, and it's wide. Morrison, the one who got his forehead to that, and he headed it just wide of Joe McDonnell's left-hand post. That was a fantastic chance there for the home side, but a sigh of relief there for Eastleigh as their 1-0 lead remains intact. That lead, of course, coming through Enzio Boldivine in the 55th minute. A header from a corner that got recycled. Charlie Carter whipped it into the box from about 6 yards out. Boldivine with a rising header straight into the back of the net. Send those Eastleigh fans behind that goal wild away to my left. Rutherford in possession on the far side. Central. Mabuoke tries to feed Quigley down the right hand side. He throws his body about. Wins his side of throw on the far side, midway inside the Solihull half. Newton up against Rutherford. Mix of yellow and blue and orange shirts there, but Maycock can bring it away for the home side, but he can't quite get it under possession. Cade Craig does though, and back into the centre of the Moors half now. Nico Gorton towards this right channel. Up against Jake Taylor is James Clark, but he feeds it into Maycock. Warburton feeds it down the right hand side. Maycock across the face of goal. Oh, and it's not quite collected, and Warburton can't quite get onto the loose ball. Boldivine touches it away. That's brilliant. And now it's a 3-on-2 here for Eastleigh. Through the centre goes Boldivine down the right hand side. Can he feed it through to Rutherford into the box? He slips. Can he gather himself? Still Rutherford across the face of goal, and it just gets a foot on it, and Clark is able to bring it away now for Solihull. But that was a chance after a lovely roll of the body by Boldivine, and on halfway comes Clark. Up against Clampin, up to Warburton. He can't quite win that particular battle, and Langston will see it all the way back to Joe McDonnell in the Spitfires goal as we enter the final 15 of this game. Ball forward to Boldivine, very central, but neither side can quite get control of it. Nico Gordon heads it into the centre circle, and Jake Taylor's gone down in a heap. That might be a head injury. He's fallen straight to the ground. The medical team for Eastleigh up straight away, and he fell like a sack of spuds there, did Jake Taylor, but I can definitely see that he's conscious. Bit of a clash of heads there. We'll certainly add to the added time. Let's just have a look whilst Jake Taylor, thankfully the number 8 is getting back onto his feet. Let's see what's happening elsewhere in the National League. Barnet, they lead Hartlepool by 3-0. Aldershot 4-1 up against Oxford City. Chesterfield and Dorking are 2 goals apiece. Halifax lead Bromley. Gateshead 2, Boreham Wood 1. Maidenhead United lead Fire by 2 goals to 1. And Solihull, of course, trailing here against Eastleigh Southend. 1 up against Oldham, Wealdstone and York, 1 goal apiece. In League One, Portsmouth still trail Bristol Rovers by 1-0. Derby, well, they trail at home 2-1 to Crisis Club Wigan Athletic. In the Championship, Stoke lead Rotherham by 3 goals to 1. Watford continue to thrash QPR. They lead by 4 goals to 0. As we're back underway here after Jake Taylor just received a little bit of treatment. In the left back position, under pressure from Rutherford, but Solihull get it up towards halfway. The flick on by Warburton is surely going to be got there to first by Joe McDonnell. Up towards halfway, Labadie can't quite get control. Quigley neither can get onto the loose ball. Osborne in the centre of the pitch. He goes down foul by Uaroke. Solihull want to take it quickly. Can't quite see what's going to happen here. It's another substitution now, and it is Chris Maguire who's going to be coming on. Certainly a luxury to have a player of his calibre, of his experience, come onto the pitch. Former Derby and Sheffield Wednesday, and of course Portsmouth attacker Enzio Boldivine, the goal scorer, the difference maker so far. He comes off when it's Chris Maguire, the Scot. Played 24 times for his national side. Certainly adds a bit of pedigree to the Eastleigh lineup as Quigley wins the ball back on halfway. Chris Maguire, can he get into the action straight away? But Quigley finds Rutherford on the right hand side. Can he keep the ball in play? He can't. It's just a bit too long for him. And there'll be a throw to Solihull, midway inside their own half on that far side. Cade Craig into the middle to Osborne, who's barking instructions, wanting the ball all the time, drives over halfway, through a couple of men, out towards that left hand side. Here comes Maycock, Stevens into Osborne once again, out towards that left hand side to Joe Newton. Clark is at the back post, he wants it, the ball comes across to him, but Clampin gets on that and plays it to Maguire, his first touch in an Eastleigh shirt. Dinks it down the left hand side for Carter. It's a poor ball actually, and expect better from him as goes out of play for a throw on this near side. Just getting a few instructions there from Lee Bradbury. Wants him to keep it simple. James Clark, as we're about to enter the final 10 here at the Armco. Labadie, just sit down. Gordon to his right on halfway, brings it forward over halfway, and he'll let Clark take control. And Morrison in the heart of the Solihull defence over towards that left hand side, into Labadie once again, over halfway on that left hand side. Options ahead of him, but he goes diagonally right in search of James Clark, goes over the defender, keeps it in play, dinks it into the box, and McDonald, it's not going to try too much difficulty, grabs it and bowls it out immediately to Maguire on this left hand side. His first instinct is to drive infield across the pitch. He's given a bit of a welcome to the National League, and nice challenge in the ribs there, but he's back on his feet. Rutherford on the far side, midway inside the Solihull half, tries to get past this man, can't quite get past Cade Craig, and it will be back in possession with Labadie and his ball down the left hand side, really poor away from Newton, far too ahead of him. There'll be a throw to Eastleigh on halfway on that far side, as we now have entered the final 10. Live on BBC Radio Solent, Solihull 0, Eastleigh 1, online and on your smart speaker and app. Throw by Rutherford, up the right hand side. Real lack of control in the game so far. Osborne, who's been at the heart of it, tries to get away from Quigley, wriggles away from one challenge, no foul says the referee, and Carter can bring it, and that definitely is a foul from behind. Very central, about 40 yards from goal.
30 yards outside section of the area.
That was an easy foul to give as Jake Taylor comes across. As much as Osborne has been in the heart of things, Jake Taylor has been covering every blade of grass. Hodson down the right hand side, Rutherford trying to get away from Newton into the middle of the pitch with Maguire, tries a 1-2. Rutherford, Hodson, Maguire out on that right hand side as they're trying to work an opening, but comes off Newton last. It does, he can't quite believe it, and it will be a throw to Eastleigh down the right. Hodson down the right hand side of the penalty area, he has to force his way back to Jake Taylor, and they'll recycle possession on halfway. Aaron Martin, George Langston to his left, Clampin to his left, his ball forward is deflected and Clampin will hit it down the left hand side, comes off Clark, he can't quite believe that he's not kept that one in, and it'll be a throw to Eastleigh on this near side. Clampin with his bleach blonde hair on this near side. Waboke wants it short, but he certainly got Maycock for company. Thrown down the left by Clampin, and there's a bit of a tussle between Quigley and Nico Gordon, and the ball goes out of play on that far side. So it goes out for a goal kick in the end. Lee Bradbury can't quite get his head around that one. It was a close one, that's for sure. Bit of a good physical battle between Nico Gordon and Scott Quigley there, but it is a goal kick away to my left. Final 8 here. Spitfires lead. This will be a fantastic start to their season, a difficult place to come. Any away game, any points you can get away from home in the National League is certainly one that you take all day long, especially when Solihull won 8 of their games here last season. It's a difficult side to face, and especially early on in the season, first game, it's always difficult to know what you're coming up against. Especially when there's been such a summer of change. I mean, 7 debuts today for Solihull. You never know quite who you're coming up against, and of course we haven't seen Richard Searman so far, but that's a very experienced head that they brought in. As the ball bounces, and James Clark, can he take the throw quickly? Maycock making a run into the middle to Jack Stevens. Labadie to his left now to Warburton, 30 yards from goal. He'll shoot from range. Oh, that was just wide of the top right hand corner. He left Joe McDonnell stranded, and to be honest, they haven't really created anything in the second half, but have a go, especially when the wind's like it is today, blustery from 30 yards. It didn't look like it was too far away. The score remains 1-0 to Eastleigh. Boldavine with the difference so far. Final 6.5 minutes. Eastleigh fans in good voice away to my left. Quigley wins the header, but it only goes back as far as Cade Craig. Bit of head tennis once more as Quigley tries to release Rutherford down the right, but again Newton comes across, brought down by Hodgson on that far side, midway inside the Solihull half, down the right channel in search of Quigley. He tries to get away from his man. That's a bit of a shirt pull offside and probably an easy free kick, and Quigley goes and puts it in the back of the net anyway, and he gets a yellow card for his troubles. I mean, it's a stupid yellow really from Scott Quigley. The whistle had gone a good few seconds before he even got into the penalty area and put that beyond Tommy Simkin. Silly yellow to give away. Warburton in the centre of the pitch, left of centre. Forward now, lovely turn there by Osborne. Jack Stevens can't quite get a foot on it. It's the ball forward, trying to find that of the run of Scott Quigley, but it's about 10 yards away from him, and Tommy Simkin really far out from his goal has had to come and collect. Cade Craig now into Jamie Osborne, the captain, over towards his near side. That's bounced up against Clark and manages to control it well. Nico Gordon onto his left foot into the middle, where Warburton has got the attention of Jake Taylor, and Eastleigh try to win that back, and in the meantime Maguire gets a foul for his troubles, and Eastleigh will have a free kick just left of the centre circle as Brian Stock and Lee Bradbury are crying for a quick free kick from Wabuoke. The game just starting to fizzle out, but is it going to have any clear-cut chances before the final whistle? Certainly Solihull will want to be creating something to get back into the game. Throw in on the far side now, bang on halfway, goes Eastleigh's way. Lee Hodgson goes over to collect. Live commentary on BBC Radio Solent if you want to hear the closing stages of Portsmouth's opening League One fixture at Fratton Park at home to Bristol Rovers. That's on live on all of our BBC Radio Solent frequencies. Quigley, he loses possession. He's actually... Does he want a free kick? No, it's gone the other way. Solihull free kick on that far side. But they still trail to Portsmouth to Bristol Rovers. You can also hear live on BBC Sounds our interview with Michael Eisner, the Pompey boss, the CEO. Of course, a fantastic question from the youngster Theo in the Pompey Fans Forum of would it be a disaster not to get promotion this season? Well, losing the opening fixture at home to Bristol Rovers, not a disaster by any means, but certainly not the way you want things to begin. Jamie Osborne drives over halfway, away from the challenge of Carter. Jake Taylor leaves a foot in, as does the challenge of Quigley, whose challenge, helped by the rain, took him a few extra yards. Clark now feeds Maycock down the right side of the box into the penalty area. Lavuoke manages to stick out a leg and get a touch on that, a vital one, otherwise it was going to fall to the feet of Warburton. Cross comes Quigley once more, but he can't quite keep it in possession for Eastleigh. In the centre of the park now, Warburton from his onto his right. Nico Gordon as Solihull keep things going. Cade Craig on the left hand side, just inside the Eastleigh half, into Joss Labadie, going from right to left. Warburton onto his left foot. He's got a chance to shoot, shapes to shoot, fakes it and doesn't. Newton into the box. It's a poor ball, but it falls out to Labadie, 30 yards from goal. Lines up the shot, instead goes to his left hand side. Still Solihull come forward. Cries are going forward from the fans. Labadie down the line to Warburton. No one was marking him. Towards the edge of the box. Chance for a shot. It does go across the face of goal, and down goes Joe McDonald. Had very little power in it in the end, but he goes down to gather it well. He'll take all the time that he needs to, with just 2 minutes of normal time to go, plus added time. Whatever that will be, we don't know with these new additional times. It could be 20 minutes for all we know. Doubt it. I'm going to go for 7. Why not? Not much going on at the moment. It's currently in possession with Solihull with Cade Craig. They try and see if they can put together one last attack for the full-time whistle. They trail by goal to 0. Enzio Baldovine on his debut with that header around 10 minutes into the second half. Ball down the left hand side in search of Stevens, and across comes Aaron Martin. He has to hit it out of play for a throw on that far side, in line with the edge of the Spitfires penalty area. Are we going to have a long throw? Jamie Osborne, who's been at the heart of everything for the home side so far, although hasn't received the Man of the Match award. That's gone to Cade Craig, who's also been at the forefront of anything that Solihull have put together. Here comes the long throw. Yeah, it's a pathetic throw towards the edge of the penalty area. Jack Stevens comes to collect it. Osborne, can he work across? He does, into the penalty area. Header goes up towards the back stick. Here comes James Clark. Bit of a goalmouth scramble. They get it away down the right hand side. Still going with Warburton across the centre of the Eastleigh half towards the left hand side. Osborne, he falls to the floor, manages to regain composure. Newton, ball into the box, and it's headed out of, almost out of play on this far side by Langston. Nico Gordon, under pressure from Maguire, gets it away from him. He actually is brought down, is Chris Maguire, and that will be, he gets applause there from the Eastleigh staff, does Chris Maguire, and that's the sort of professionalism that you can find when you bring someone of his calibre in, someone of his experience. He knows the sort of the dark arts, as it were, winning those free kicks, eating away the seconds. Says, I think we should be finding out just how much added time we're going to be having very soon. Fourth official about to put up his board. I said 7 minutes. Well, I said 9 minutes. It's actually 8 minutes. 8 minutes of added time. 8 minutes of added time. Where I'm not quite sure where all of that has come from, but we're going to have to get our heads around it this season, that's for sure. But it's good to have the ball in play. Scott Quigley doesn't win that aerial duel, and it's just into, might find Quigley actually as the ball comes forward down the left hand side of the box. He has very little company, nicks it off the Solihull defender, and they actually have a set piece on this near side of corner kick. First time that Eastleigh have managed to really come forward in the last sort of 5 minutes. It's all been scrappy in the centre of the park as Maguire comes over towards this near side to take this. Will they take it short, or will they go for another and wrap up the 3 points? Hodgson's come short, as he normally does. Up goes the arm from Maguire. Great delivery, header towards the edge of the box, away by Osborne. Everyone was back from Solihull, so it only goes back as far as Rutherford on inside his own half, and he plays it all the way back to Joe McDonald. No one is putting any pressure on McDonald at the moment. He can take as much time as he wants as Jack Stevens starts to slow jog towards the Eastleigh keeper. Quigley goes down, slips on the surface once more. There's been a lot of rain. I'm not quite sure. I'm looking forward to the drive home with all that water on the roads, but hey, part of the job. On this near side, Morrison out towards Clark. Josh Labadie, another player in that midfield 3 for Solihull, who's covered every blade of grass that he can, and an experienced player to bring at this level. Clark, 1-2 with Labadie. Down the right hand side now with Maycock. Tries to feed Warburton with the first time ball, but the ball back to Aaron Martin is almost a little precarious. Clark just inside the Eastleigh half into Labadie in the centre. Cade Craig, left of the centre circle. Left ball diagonal towards Clark in the left corner of the box. He has a coming together with Ryan Clampin, who's gone to the floor. No free kick, no foul, so Solihull will have a throw. on this near side. Clark to take this into the second minute of added time. The ball bounces in the penalty area. Can they get a shot? It's blocked by Stevens. Stevens towards the byline. He goes down. He wants a penalty. Referee James Durkin says no. Out of play on this near side. Still throw for Solihull. Stevens, who went down, as Clark goes to take it short. Into the box now. Labadie back to Clark. Tries to go first time ball now to Osborne. Left footed towards the back stick. Bounces through everyone, but no one can get a foot onto it. To Stevens on the byline. Still Osborne. It's just wide. Oh, fantastic shot by Joe McDonnell has kept Eastleigh's lead alive. Jack Stevens got a nice ball down the right of the penalty area towards the byline, pulled it back, a first time shot, and it was well saved at his near post by McDonnell, but it's a corner. Osborne delivers it towards the back stick, headed out towards the edge of the box. Newton tries to line up a thunder strike, but nothing doing. Warburton to Newton down the left side of the box towards the back stick. Can there be a header? They can! And Solihull have equalised in added time. Heartbreak for Lee Bradbury's men. There will still be 5 minutes or so of added time, but they worked the ball down the left. It was dinked towards the back stick. I'm not quite sure who got ahead to it at the far post, but Eastleigh have been paid back in added time. Solihull 1, Eastleigh 1. Just waiting for confirmation of that goal, but Eastleigh had the game in their hands, but that pressure from Solihull just built and built. They couldn't quite get it out of the box. Warburton on the left dinked it in, and there was a lovely header at the back post. And Solihull Moors 1, Eastleigh 1, as we enter last few minutes of added time. Still no confirmation on the goal scorer. There was a couple of bodies at the back post, not quite sure who got the final touch. Carter and Clark come together in that right back position. James Clark's gone down holding his face.
In the end, he's gone out for a throw, but foul.
He's gone out. Is it a throw? Is it a foul? I'm not entirely sure just at the moment. I think I've gone out for a throw on this near side as James Clark makes his way back to its feet. Oh, that's a real kick in the teeth for the Spitfires. Leading, seeming to be in control, but failing to get a second goal has left them disappointed. But can they get anything? We've still got a few minutes of added time to go. Carter feeds quickly down the left hand side, tries to skip infield, he doesn't. Clark gets it up towards halfway. Langston lets it roll across him to his right centre back partner in Aaron Martin. Down the right hand channel, Rutherford tries a first time ball with Hodgson under a lot of pressure, and Solihull have a bit of extra vigour now in these final few minutes. Not even the stadium announcer has managed to confirm who got the goal. At the moment it's 1-1 as Jake Taylor is found down the right hand side. Back to goal, infield to Rabuoke. He gets away from his man, 30 yards from goal. What can Eastleigh muster up? They can't really, as the ball goes forward to Jack Stevens. Aaron Martin's on that quickly. Can Eastleigh find a winner? Can either side find a winner? Clamping on this left hand side. We just had to confirm Kyle Morrison with the goal. Maguire 30 yards from goal, skips in to a more central position, tries to feed it into the penalty area, quickly turns. Jake Taylor onto his left foot, shoots it down the throat of Tommy Simpkin. That was a really good opportunity there. Tommy Simpkin stood his ground well to gather that, especially with it's such a slippery service, not to let that fall through his hands. But Eastleigh almost finding themselves back in the lead, as we're going to have another change for the Spitfires. It's Ludwig Francelet who's going to be coming on. Simpkin hits it over the top towards Jack Stevens down the right hand side. He's bundled to the floor. The referee says nothing. There will be a throw to Eastleigh as Stevens remains on the deck on his back, and now the medical staff are just going to wander over that. I don't think there's too much concern at the moment.
Substitution
Slow
for Eastleigh.
John, it's Charlie Carter
Number 7,
who's going to be
Charlie
coming
Carter.
off.
Number 6, Ludwig Franciletti.
And Ludwig Franciletti is going to be coming on. As they put a big body forward, he's playing further forward. As Eastleigh, it's just heartbreak for them on the opening day of the season. They just couldn't quite hold on. And it's a fairly scrappy goal as well. I'm sure Lee Bradbury, when I speak to him later, is going to be fairly disappointed in the manner that they've conceded. Just let the pressure build and build. But in the end, it's Carl Morrison's goal that has levelled proceedings here. We're deep into stoppage time at the moment, in the 8th minute of the 8 added on, but I'm sure with the goal we'll have a couple more minutes, see what James Durkin's going to add on. Is there going to be another twist in the tail here? Aaron Martin brings it forward for Eastleigh, and the experienced captain hits it diagonal over halfway in search of Maguire and Quigley. Quigley drops to Maguire, 20 yards from goal. He falls over on the edge of the box, and Jamie Osborne, who's got a terrific pair of lungs on him, as he keeps on going, hits it down the right hand side, and the ball's going to go out of play for a Eastleigh throw. Langston, he wants things to keep on going. Over halfway, Aaron Martin, no full-time whistle as of yet. Martin now over towards this near side, it's found no one but James Clark. Up goes Jack Stevens, Langston wins the header on halfway. Mabuoke trying to find Franciletti up against Newton. It's a bit of a physical mismatch, but Newton comes away with it. Hodson down the right hand side to Rutherford, and Solihull take a bit of time, get up towards halfway, but Eastleigh come once more with Langston to his left to Clampin. Can they get the ball into the penalty area? Clampin, his ball into the box is blocked, hits the roof of the stand, and will be a throw on this near hand side to Eastleigh, in line with the edge of the box. Can they muster anything? Throw towards Quigley, loops it into the penalty area, up goes the header from Taylor. Does it drop for anyone? Rutherford in the penalty area, he keeps it on that right hand side, cross it into the box, over comes Clampin, edge of the penalty area, volley from Maguire, and it's wide! That's taken a deflection, surely. Oh, Maguire, you thought that he just got the winner for Eastleigh, but no, it took a deflection, went wide. That's what he's capable of. They take the corner quickly. Maguire, who's just had the shot, whips it into the box, it's blocked, comes out of play. It will be another corner to Spitfire. Surely we're into the final action. That would have been a terrific goal there by Chris Maguire, who's over this for the corner. Moves people forward for Eastleigh, in towards the front post, headed towards the edge of the box, comes as far as Rutherford, 30 yards from goal. Will he shoot? No, he doesn't. Tries to dink it towards the back six, goes over the head of Langston. Will he keep that in on this near side? And he doesn't. He's offside, and there will be a free kick, and you'd think that would be that. Tommy Simpkin, he's certainly taking his time. I think Solihull will settle for the point at the moment. Well, I did speak to a few Eastleigh fans at the beginning of the start of the game. They said they'd be happy to come away with the point. Surely the manner of the way they've given away the lead, there'll be disappointment. Simpkin over halfway, and that is full time here at the Armco Arena. Spoil shed on the opening day of the season for Eastleigh in the National League. Enzo Baldovine gave the Spitfires the lead early on in the second half when he headed in Charlie Carter's cross, and Eastleigh, you thought maybe they could build on that, but it wasn't to be, as in the 8 minutes of added on time, Kyle Morrison was the one to break Eastleigh hearts at the back post and send the Solihull crowd wild to level things. Eastleigh, again, any point away from home in the National League is one that you'd be earned and be happy with, but the manner, the way they gave things away, will certainly not be happy with that this afternoon. Plenty of action left to go in the season, only the first game of the season. Thank you very much for joining me this afternoon live on BBC Radio Solent. If you've got any thoughts, get them into Jordan Clark, as we'll have our post-match reaction. I'll go down and chat to Lee Bradbury and see if we can get hold of a player as well here in the National League following that 1-1 draw. Text 81333, and on Twitter at Solent Sport. And I'm going to go off and get some post-match reaction. And the final score here on the opening day of the National League season: Solihull Moors 1, Eastleigh 1.
We're going to go up to Solihull Moors next, get our first bit of reaction from Eastleigh's draw away at Solihull Moors 1-0. They conceded a late goal in stoppage time, having led 1-0. Their manager Lee Bradbury's been speaking to Tom Murray.
Lee, opening game of the season, a draw but a bitterly disappointing one.
Yeah, to be winning 1-0 away from home and conceding in the last 3 or 4 minutes is a sucker punch, a hard one to take. We've come here today and been, we had high energy, we pressed them and made them hard to play. So I watched them last week, and they're a team that rely on having the ball. And we got after and made it tough for them, got a couple of decent chances off the back of it, hit the post, and was in a positive frame of mind. Second half we were a bit better in the start of the second half, I felt, than we were in the first half. And then we had a little bit of a dip. They had a sort of 10-15 minute spell where they had a few bit of possession, but yeah, all in all, it's a point away from home, but it's a tough one to take when they score in 5 minutes to go and you're winning the game against 10 men.
How pleased were you with the start that your side made, because you had 3 really big chances within the opening sort of 10-15 minutes? You really set out your stall at the beginning.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what we wanted to do. And another day we could be 2 or 3-0 up at half time. We weren't, and you've got to stay. From their point of view, stay in the game, and they did that and scored late, and they never gave up. So fair play to Wingy and his team. But we've got to be outside really there, and we conceding a poor late goal from our point of view, and that needs to be cut out.
Obviously it hasn't really been the best weather for an opening of the season match. How much do you think that played a part today?
Now listen, the pitch is very good here. A lot of the ball was on the ground today anyway, so it plays a part, but it's the same for both teams, and there's absolutely no qualms from us. The pitch is very good here, so it's a little bit unpredictable as far as the swirling of the wind, etc. But as I say, same for both teams, no qualms there.
A lot of new faces in the summer. One of them obviously a return for Paul McCallum. Wasn't maybe his best day today. He had about 3 centre-backs on him most of the time. Yeah. Is there a chance that you see him and Scott Quigley playing together, or is it very much sort of one or the other?
Oh no, listen, we've got to find a way to get our best players on the pitch at this moment in time. We have Scott Quigley, Ludi Franciletti and Chris Maguire. They joined us late. They're 2 or 3 weeks behind the rest of the players, so they're still in the infinity of their pre-season really, and they still need a bit of time to get up to speed and where we want them to be without having to make subs early and stuff in the game. So that's the reasoning behind that today. We're not quite fully 100% match fit to last 90 minutes, so we've got to use them wisely.
Chris Maguire almost scoring of a worldie on his debut. That's the kind of experience he can bring. Yeah,
definitely. He's really come into the building, and he's got undoubted ability on the ball. We need to get him on the football and let him dictate games, and his delivery is excellent into the box. It could be a big one for some of the big centre forwards. I think we've got 2 of the best forwards in the league, in Paul McCallum and Scott Quigley, and we need to make sure that we're feeding them.
What's your opinion on now the elongated added time? Obviously you got 8 minutes at the end today in matches. Yesterday there was about a total of about 15 minutes in the Southampton-Sheffield Wednesday game. What's your take on that?
Yeah, listen, they're trying to make it fair for everyone and for the supporters to see more football, I suppose. Trying to stay a step ahead of the game, but where do you stop? As long as it's fair for everyone and it's consistent, that's the most important thing, which I think it will be. And then there's no problems with it. But it does affect the way you think a little bit as a coaching staff and a manager. You're not just got to get to 90 minutes. You've got to get to probably 100 now. And you're thinking about your subs. You've got to probably, if you bring them at 85, they might have 15 minutes to play. So you don't want to make your subs too early. 3 subs at the level with the amount of time that's going to be added on is hard to get through. We probably need more subs, and I wouldn't be surprised if most managers say that. But we'd like to be able to make more changes, but you have got to keep one up your sleeve.
One game gone, many more to go. It's going to be a long season. What's the goal for Eastleigh this year?
We want to improve on last year. which were 2 points off the playoffs. So really, playoffs, or even better if we can. But we've got a bit to do. We're nowhere near the finished article yet, but it has given us a good base and some good players in the house to work with, and we enjoy doing that every day. So we'll continue to do that, and hopefully we can KO mistakes like we did today, and get our best players on the pitch.
Final question. Any more faces expected through the door?
Yeah, possibly. Still a little bit for me to be able to bring one or two in, but I don't want to rush that. I just want to make sure it's the right person and the right personality, even more important. So possibly in the next couple of weeks, maybe see one or two.
Eastleigh boss Lee Bradbury with Tom Murray there after their 1-1 draw away at Solihull Moors in their season opener in the National League. You're listening to Solent Sport with Jordan Clark, with you through until 6. Then Richard Latto and Stereo Underground will take over before 8 o'clock. Fern Bolsh will have BBC introducing, and then Fern Buckley, get it wrong all the time, don't I? We'll have BBC introducing Solent for you, and then Alex Dyke on the way for you from 10 o'clock tonight. At half-time in AFC Bournemouth's final pre-season friendly before their Premier League gets underway next weekend against West Ham. They're up against FC Lorient on the French side this evening. They are 1-0 up at half-time. David Brooks has scored the goal for the Cherries. On BBC Sounds is also where you can go back and listen to the final hour of the show today, between 5 and 6, and hear all of our post-match interviews. We have heard from John Messino, the Pompey boss. We have heard from Joe Rafferty, the Pompey fullback. We have heard from Lee Bradbury, the Eastleigh boss, and of course plenty of analysis and assessment from Andy Moon and from Guy Whittingham as well. So please do that. Coming up this week, we'll be back on Monday night with the Women's Sports Show from 6 o'clock. We will be back on Tuesday morning with one-day cup cricket action, with Hampshire playing Essex at the Ageas Bowl. That's an 11 o'clock start. And then we will be back on Tuesday evening with the sports show from 6 o'clock. 2 League Cup ties for you. We have got Pompey away at Forest Green Rovers, and we have got Southampton on the road away at Gillingham as well. Live commentary of both of those games. Thanks very much for listening today. Long old season, plenty of time to go. We're up and running with a draw for Eastleigh, threw it away at the end, and a dramatic point for Pompey as well in stoppage time.
Warburton to Newton, down the left side of the box, draws a back stick, can there be a header? There can! And Solihull have equalised in added time. Heartbreak for Lee Bradbury's men. There will still be 5 minutes or so of added time. But Eastleigh have been pegged back in added time. Solihull 1, Eastleigh 1.
Rafferty to deliver, chipped into the middle, and it's headed down by Yengi off the post and in! What a moment! Cassini Yengi! What a way to introduce yourself to English football! It was slow motion the way the ball went in. He got it inch perfect, past the despairing dive of Cox on his debut in front of the Bratton end. Portsmouth 1, Bristol Rovers 1.